Welcome to The Backlash, a weekly discussion about the past, present, and future of Western civilization. I am your host, Rebecca Hargraves, joined as always by Mr. Dave Riley. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? I'm all nicotined up. Got my sparkling water, my orange glasses. I am feeling good.
They look less gay with a lumberjack shirt.
Yeah, you know, it balances.
Yeah, totally. How are you, Cameron?
Good. What's with the lumberjack shirts, man? Everybody in social media and like politicians wear them. I don't get it.
It's Idaho.
An Idaho thing.
It's Idaho. It's an Idaho thing.
Oh, no, I think it's an American thing.
Oh, could be. But I mean, you know, listen, we do need to start making some, like, look at that.
Some patches. You need some patches.
I got to get this patched. I've got like a hole right there.
It's like mountain man chic.
Yeah, totally.
I guess. I don't know.
I had to buy my husband some. You can find us on X at Real Backlash, our website, thebacklash.net. Support us on subscribestar.com/thebacklash, patreon.com/thebacklash. Send your super chats that will be read live at the end of the show to thebacklash.net/super shit. We don't get super chats anymore on our YouTube channel, however, but you should still subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's at Real Backlash. Sub to our Rumble Backlash podcast. Follow us on Instagram as well.
All of our platforms. And TikTok, which is at Backlash Pod. Thank you so much for joining us today. A quick thank you to our sponsors, Atlas Bullion, Premier, dealer of gold and silver, Idaho Tallow, skincare without endocrine disruptors, Antelope Hill, the people that will publish literally anything. Thank you so much, sponsors. Thank you so much, audience. It has been such a strange week. I still can't believe the Charlie Kirk news. We're going to be breaking that down today. I'm just watching everybody go full retard on this. Just absolutely full retard. It's crazy. And it's like, you know, there was a picture. Can I pull this up? We're starting early this week. We are starting early.
somebody had commented or put out a tweet about the camera that they were using at the Charlie Kirk event. And it's just absolutely, here we go. So
That's real spurgy.
The Hustle Bitch, right? I do not know anything about this account, but Hustle Bitch posted, this is a very bizarre looking camera to have at a public event, okay? That is a standard camera. Like, there's not, what? And so I posted, you're effing retarded. This is a standard DSLR. And they're like, can you please, I'm not a photographer, can you please post a picture of an identical setup? And I'm like, yeah, here you go. There's all the parts. You got your lens rails, your matte box, what is going on? There, and then there's the Freemason
I haven't
stuff.
even heard this.
Oh, that, like it was something to the effect of like, George Farmer and Charlie Kirk started Turning Point UK at the Grand Lodge of Freemasonry in England, blah, blah, blah. And there was, 33 hats on the table in front of Charlie Kirk, and the angle of trajectory that the bullet was 33 degrees down. And it was just like, this is enough.
There's a lot of schizo posting relating to this. Now, that being said, it is incumbent upon all of us to question the official narrative, considering that the government and the FBI lie to us constantly. They cannot be trusted. They lie to us constantly. And there are really strange things that happened in the events.
Well, I don't even think it kind of goes without saying at this point. We've had like COVID.
Yeah.
We had TPUSA and Donald Trump and Eric Trump and Don Jr. and, the vice president all coming out for the past, 4 years. Don't trust the media. Fake news. Don't trust the government. Don't trust the FBI. So congratulations. MAGA doesn't trust anyone anymore, anything anymore. And we've completely gone off the rails.
We should talk a little bit if you guys just want to get right into it.
I don't. I want to talk about something else first. Or maybe we could shoehorn it in later. It doesn't matter. I wanted to talk about this.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Put these guys. Well, so amidst this whole, everybody's talking about, what's his face? Charlie Kirk. Everyone's talking about the Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry. I'm getting into it. I'm getting in gear. Everyone's talking about the Charlie Kirk assassination, but while that's happening, 250 elected representatives from the United States of America went to Israel, and they joined in this 50 states, one Israel conference. Let's see, I've got it right here. Bipartisan U.S. support reminds Israel's true friends stand by us, blah, blah, blah. So 50 states, one Israel. And I just thought that it was important that everybody knows about this, because from every state, there were at least 5 representatives, and they didn't really make public who those people are. Mm-hmm. And so for my people in Idaho, we've got a tweet about this. It was Ilana Rubel, who I actually kind of liked. She's Jewish.
Dave.
This one. Well, I liked her because she used to talk to my former boss. She was like willing to engage in dialogue. I don't know, not anymore. We got, I think his name is John Schertz, Bruce Skog, Barbara Ehart, and Josh Tanner. John Schertz is the guy's name. So these are from Idaho, over there planting the flag of Idaho in Israel after everything that we've seen, after 19,000 dead kids, potentially a hell of a lot more. This is just not a good look.
No.
And every state had 5 of these people.
How many of these people are dual citizens? I'd like to see that chart.
Probably just Ilana.
No, of all the 5 from each state. I'm sure it's...
Of the 250. Yeah, right. A lot of Randy Fines probably over there. But
totally.
You got to keep your eyes on the ball with this. There was also something else that happened. On the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there was a vote to release the Epstein documents that failed, 51 to 49. No one's talking about that either. So just a couple of things that kind of have gotten lost in the shuffle that I feel deserved a special highlight before we get into what everybody else has already... Oh, wait, hold on. We've got one more thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we got a hilarious fan mail.
Thank you. It's a nice little...
Wait, I want to read this.
Thank you,
It
card.
was so funny. It was addressed to me. Okay.
It was not, was it?
It was.
Oh.
It says, Dear the Backlash, your adoration of Nick Fuentes is difficult to watch. I know very little about him. He may be as amazing as you make him out to be, but I'm certain he is just a man. I've seen you be critical of people that speak of Trump as you speak of Fuentes. The Fuentes love sessions on your show are unpleasant.
Thank you.
I think, honestly, I think he's probably right. I think he's onto something. There's too much glazing of Nick Fuentes on this channel.
We do a little glazing. If you want to send us...
I don't participate in that.
That's
Obviously,
true.
Not listening to me.
That's true.
That's true.
If you want to send us some fan mail, hate mail, positive, if you want to send us some Coca-Cola, cigars, whatever, P.O. Box 853, Post Falls, Idaho, 83877. I really need to...
Oh my
me.
gosh.
I really need to add that to the website. Very professional show that we got going on
It's
here.
in my mouth. What is wrong with you?
Here,
Okay. No, they were just fanning it towards me.
I'm sorry.
All right, let's talk about the reasons that this Charlie Kirk death is suspicious. Some of the things that do not check out about the Charlie Kirk death. I mean, this first one is it's really pissing me off. We need to watch clip 1. I'm hearing from everybody, what did he do with the gun? You can see him jumping off the building. He has no gun. He has no gun. In clip 1, he obviously has the gun with him. I think I timestamped this and then they end up zooming in on it.
Okay, let's take a look.
So you don't have to zoom in. They'll do it for you. All right, look, there he is. There he is putting the gun in the gutter. There he is retrieving the gun. There he is slinging it over his back. And there he is. He drops it a little bit, slinging it over his back right now, running off with it. I don't know what these people are talking about. How is anybody going to tell me that he doesn't have the gun?
It looks like he has an object in his hand.
Shaped like a gun.
Roughly the same size. I mean, it's wrapped in a towel. Am I wrong?
Well, I don't know if it's wrapped in a towel. I mean,
Allegedly?
he could have wrapped it in a towel later. But look, it's a friggin' gun. Obviously a gun.
Hold on. How do I...
Can somebody tell me why everybody is saying that this is evidence that he did not have the gun?
Hold on. They're going to zoom in even more.
There he is. Oh, look at that gun.
Oh, yeah. That kind of looks like a gun.
Look at that. Look at that. All
so-
right. Where did this even come from?
I don't know, man. Probably the same people that are saying that the DSLR camera behind him was actually a gun, and that the front was the exit wound, and that it was an automated camera in the back. I've also heard theories that there were 4 Palantir drones flying around, and that one of the Palantir drones took him out. Like the schizo posting.
It's gotta stop. Here is something
don't-
that's suspicious, though. The missing manifesto. I can get a little
There doesn't need to
tinfoily
be a
about this.
manifesto. No. People are fucking confusing this too. Like these people that shoot up the schools, they need a manifesto because it is fucked up to go shoot random people at like a school or at mass or something like that. They need a manifesto. They generally are not like live streaming mass. This, however, was propaganda of the deed. It was done in a group of people. 2,000 some odd people were standing there. He shot him in front of everybody. It was being live streamed, and it was designed to be consumed and watched by everybody. The assassination in itself was the manifesto.
Yet they say that it exists and that it's been destroyed. Play clip 2.
What? This is the first I'm hearing of this. Let's take a look.
Written note? Did he write a written note before the assassination attempt? That's what the governor said yesterday. And what did that say? If you could.
So
share
what I'm
that
able
with
to say. I'm sorry. So what I'm able to say is I addressed it partially earlier. Is that the written note we believe what did exist, and we have evidence to show what was in that note, which is, and I'm going to summarize, basically saying the suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. That note was written before the shooting. Evidence of its existence, we now have learned, existed before the shooting, was in the location in the suspect and partner's home. But we have since learned that the note, even though it has been destroyed, we have found forensic evidence of the note, and we have confirmed what that note says because of our aggressive interview posture at the FBI.
What?
written note?
So why
did he
have
write
they
a
not released the contents? I don't want to hear it paraphrased. I want to see this. I think it's owed to the general public.
Yeah.
Okay, but the big thing that everybody's talking about, and I think that this is something that we really
Is this it?
no. Let's do clip 3. This George Zinn thing, I find highly suspicious. Now, as everybody knows, he has been charged with having child pornography. Now, I've heard the argument that this makes it less likely that he's a patsy. I think it obviously makes it more likely that he's a patsy because, being a pedophile is the only thing that is cancelable these days anymore.
Didn't Stephen Paddock's brother was also found with CP?
I've heard that this guy is Jewish.
He is.
Do we know that for sure?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And then I also heard that he said that
Zinn.
sometimes it's just German, that he just took an opportunity to be a distraction because he hated Charlie Kirk also.
That's bizarre.
It's
Who
bizarre.
thinks like that? Nobody thinks that
leftists
quickly.
do.
That quickly?
I don't know. I mean, I find this highly suspicious, but he has been charged with kiddie porn. And then... Go ahead.
I was going to say, did you hear, and I might be stepping on your toes with this, but did you hear that he was involved in 9/11?
I did. It's in this.
Is it in this tweet? Okay, hold on. Let's pull the tweet up. Let's read it. Breaking: the man who originally took credit for Charlie Kirk's assassination. Wow, I can't talk today. George Zinn has now been charged with possessing child porn. Life comes at you fast, dipshit. ICYMI. In case you missed it, April 15th, 2013, George Zinn sent an email that 4 days after the Boston Marathon bombing to marathon organizers placing bombs at the finish line, which he later claimed was a joke. He was also used a few times in interviews remembering 9/11. Yeah, he did. He came out and said that as soon as I saw the towers come down, I knew that it was Al-Qaeda. No, you didn't. Nobody knew that. Shut the fuck up.
Very strange.
He's now been charged with kiddie porn. Why did he take credit and cause a distraction?
So this is the biggest impetus for me in terms of believing the totality of the official narrative. I can't make sense of this. I guess the best explanation, if I'm going to trust the official narrative, is that he is a leftist opportunist who goes to events like this and he's just able to seize opportunities. And, Jews do that.
True.
That is part of their psyche. So Saul Alinsky, which I'll be talking about later, he talks about that in Rules for Radicals. So I don't know. Another big thing, this text message thread, or was it on Discord with the boyfriend, has come out this week. And this is just bizarre. This is the cadence, the language. It's all bizarre. When I read this, I was like, this is clunky. When you watch a movie and they explain, instead of showing you, they explain plot points.
Right.
See, they did this in Interstellar and some other movies. I'm like, stop telling me what's going on. Just show me.
And that's how
I hated the movie.
What?
They said that, or I felt like it was happening here. Like he's saying things for the sake of saying them. Let's read some of this.
Yeah. So this is I want to read Charles Johnson's comment here. Right. I mean, he's America's Fed. Big salute to Charles Johnson. This is what's called an orgy of evidence. It seems fake. It doesn't seem like believable dialogue. I don't believe that a gay autist would narrate his killing of Charlie Kirk to his trans lover. More likely that this was written after the fact to exonerate his lover and the cell that they were a part of. So it's like, Robinson, I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret until I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you. Tranny, you weren't the one that did it, right? Robinson, I am. I'm sorry. I thought they caught the person, said the roommate. Robinson said, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of the side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Like, are you a Zoomer? You're not a Zoomer.
They don't talk about that.
What is this? And then there's this other stuff too, where using language that is odd, like here Robinson says, how long have you been planning this? He says, a bit over a week, I believe.
What do you mean?
What do you mean you believe? You're the one that planned it.
This is another one that's weird. Why did I do it? I've had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. And then he says, if I'm able to grab my rifle unseen,
right,
I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they've moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it.
And then he says, I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. Okay, squad car? I don't know. I would say there's a cop car there.
Yeah.
The cops are there.
He says vehicle multiple times.
Does he say vehicle?
He also says rifle several times, which I think is strange. Ending a sentence with yet is bizarre. And then it's so incriminating, which is deliberate, I think, but he's talking about how it's his grandpa's rifle. He talks about the cost of the scope. Like, what is my dad going to do? I'm worried about Prince.
Right. Now, have you seen the picture of the rifle?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a black rifle. It's a polyethylene or whatever. It's a plastic black sporting rifle with the bolt action. If, like, my grandpa gave me a 30-06, I would be willing to bet money it would be made of wood and not modern plastic. Let me see if I can get a picture of it. Let's see.
He also says, delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle. It's very unique. He's calling me right now.
It's very unique.
Very unique, yeah.
Actually, no. No, it's not. That is not very unique looking at all. It is black plastic, looks like literally any other kind of sporting rifle that you could literally go pick up at a store right now.
Then something else that I was willing to buy that this was scripted in that he was trying to exonerate this Troon cell that is involved with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. But in this exchange, he also says, do you remember when I was engraving bullets? Which is really incriminating. If I saw my husband engraving bullets, I'd be like, what the fuck? Who are you going to kill? What are you doing? I mean, isn't that bizarre? Like, obviously, if you saw somebody engraving bullets, you would think that they're going to assassinate somebody. Didn't this recent Troon engrave his bullets too?
I don't know.
I think he did, and I think it's a common thing in political assassinations. So if he were going to exonerate his boyfriend through this script, why would he say that? That is very, very strange. Very strange.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It seems set up.
It does seem set up.
It seems set up with, with a bow on it.
Yeah.
With a bow on it. And do you have anything in here about the Discord stuff?
What do you mean?
So Discord got hacked today or yesterday or something like that. And so everything's out there. And I spent some time last night, I think was it Ken Klippenstein, put out, why are you laughing?
Klippenstein. That's funny.
Did he? No? Okay. Son of a bee. This is what happens. Discord messages. Because there were screenshots that I saw from the group chats, and it did not look. Yeah, here it is. Oh, no. That's the one about the hack.
Discord was not hacked.
Oh, okay. So I guess that was fake.
Cameron, what do you think about these chats? Do you think that...
where I was going is that the Discord chats were like, oh, like, this is terrible. Somebody killed Charlie Kirk. Pray for him. No. It was like a gaming chat. It wasn't like a leftist chat. It wasn't like an Antifa chat. It was like a gaming chat that was pretty apolitical, actually, when you look at the stuff in there.
I'm not buying this. Troon Cell is my guess.
I'm going to pull up his Substack.
Cameron, do you think the FBI orchestrated this exchange?
Or faked it?
I don't know. I don't like to speculate on these things like you guys. I just don't know. But
here it is.
What I will say is I don't buy the cover story. I don't. At least as it stands today, things could change. And to be fair, I haven't looked forensically at all of the evidence, in part because I like to avoid the detritus the first week or 2 weeks after, and then to try to re-examine things after the animal spirits have calmed down a little bit. But I think there's a lot more suspicious activity and circumstantial evidence leading up to the assassination that I find a lot more compelling, some of which we're going to talk about on the show later. So I don't want to, I'll tease it, but I don't want to get into it just now. But the cover story seems suspicious.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's the Ken Klippenstein stuff that he found. You know, then this is from this is from the Discord. Charlie Kirk got shot, dead. I just saw the video. Holy shit. R.I.P. I guess. Bro didn't deserve to go out like that. Sad. And then Zealous Monkey 55095, which is apparently the shooter. What's his name?
I almost
Robinson?
said Tommy Robinson.
Tyler Robinson texts the next day, hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything. Like, what? You know, and then you can see the games that they were playing. The only two times that he ever talked about Donald Trump or Joe Biden was these messages here. An impeachment inquiry has been placed against Donald Trump. He could get booted out if they found that he's committed the shit he's accused of. And talking about the election of Trump in 2020. But that was 4 years ago. So you're telling me that in 4 years, they haven't been going back and forth messaging about Donald Trump and...
But this doesn't...
This is crazy.
That just is this Discord server. It doesn't mean that he wasn't...
He could have been in another Discord. He's probably in multiple Discord
Here,
servers.
why don't you pull up 5? A group called Armed Queers Salt Lake City is under FBI investigation for possible foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Some of this isn't necessary, but the leader of this group, Urmaya Fanian, is reportedly an Iranian-born transgender man with a Biden-era State Department ties via a now scrubbed award from, there it is, Utah Global Diplomacy. Let's go all the way down. You guys might want to read this on your own time, though. On September 10th, 2025, the same day Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the group deleted its Instagram account and scrubbed related content, including the Cuba trip video, in what is believed to be an apparent effort to hide its online footprint. Archive versions reveal posts promoting armed protection of queer communities, and this clip where Fanayan states, if we're terrorists, we're proud terrorists. We don't have to watch the clip. But I mean, I'm seeing some evidence come forth that there may be some sort of troon cell that is working in cooperation.
When you say troon cell, are you like a troon or a cell? CELL? Like a terror cell.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
I was like, did I miss
this crazy?
I'm sorry, Dave. What's the motive? Like, I haven't heard anybody assert the motive.
Montel Williams.
Why would he do this?
Of all of the people that have put out theories about this, Montel Williams actually put out what I think is probably the most easy.
Well, he's the guy I always go to on these. Let's hear what he has to say.
Let's see if do I have the clip? Here it is. Here is the clip.
Wow, Black Don't Crack. Isn't he like 70?
Montel Williams. Let's hear what he has to say.
There are people who are trying to pigeonhole this as a leftist thing and a right thing. And what we're really talking about, hear me because I'm going to throw you when I say this. We're talking about a love-torn child, a kid. This is probably his first real relationship. And somebody was disparaging the person that he loved. He sat on that building for 30 minutes before he took the shot. Why did he wait until the first word trans came up? Then he took the shot.
You think he heard it? He could hear it?
I think he could hear it. I think he also, I don't believe he was motivated politically. I think this was motivated emotionally. I think this was a emotionally stunted person who literally, when I say it this way, just hear me, tried to defend his significant other, not trying to defend some ideology.
That's a remarkably good take.
I know.
I find it ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense.
JF had a similar take. Explain, Cameron.
Well, look, I mean, okay, having been in a few relationships myself, okay, when you go through emotional torrent like that, you tend to be impulsive, tends to be erratic. Again, I'm not diagnosing this person. I don't know anything about them, but this, if we are to believe that this was done, it was surgical, right? It was precision. That that's not what happens when you're caught up in an emotional storm, when a relationship is going awry, or you're trying to defend the honor of somebody next to you. That is an emotional response, and emotional responses are impulsive, they're erratic, they're unpredictable. Not a planned surgical assassination. That doesn't make sense at all. And furthermore, if he was trying to make an emotional statement, why did he immediately try to flee the scene? Why not stand up and draw attention to himself? People that are emotional do those kinds of things. So it doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. Maybe he was trying to prove his love for his trim boyfriend.
Could be.
I don't know. What I am hearing from everybody is that this was surely Mossad. And while I'm not saying that Mossad doesn't do stuff like this all the time, but this, at least to me, does not seem like a Mossad operation. You mentioned that it was precision. I think that this was a little bit sloppy. I don't think it was Mossad coded. I mean, Mossad, would they do this at such a huge event? Would they do this and would they miss the mark? I mean, shooting somebody in the neck is odd. I think everybody has proven that he was wearing a bulletproof vest, so they must have missed his head, which is not Mossad coded. I think that the cover-up would also be too sloppy for Mossad. I think that they're more competent than this.
I mean, so where I've been at with all of this, with seeing all of the speculation on who the shooter was, what's the motive, why did he do it, what gun did he, blah, blah, blah. To me, that stuff is less important to me, whether or not Mossad had a hand in it, or they planned it, or if it was like some goofy, I heard a theory today that it was, what did I say? Arctic frost, I think, right? Mm-hmm. There was this weird FBI probe into TPUSA that allegedly, some people are suggesting that there were terrorist cells set up by the FBI to carry out assassinations in the homeland. I don't know if I believe that, but like, to me, the more important thing is the reaction after. Mm-hmm. It is how these people are reacting to his death is more important to me than who actually killed him. Because it's more concrete, right? And so, for example, what do we have in the wake of his death? Well, Charlie Kirk Show, day 1, brought to you by Palantir. Day 2, brought to you by the Daily Wire. I mean, you've got, if I don't steal your show, somebody else is going to steal your show anyway. I may as well be the one to steal the show. And then, today we've got the Judeo-Mormons coming in with Glenn Beck. So you can see very clearly that, and within 12 hours, you had Benjamin Netanyahu, who's on
Would you say that everyone's using the death for their own cause?
Oh.
Which is an entire section later in the outlet, Dave?
Oh.
Read the outline, Dave.
But that's more important to me than speculating on
which is why I have such a robust section on it later in the program.
Fantastic.
Let's first talk about why everybody's going this Mossad route. So Charlie did recently reject $150 million from Benjamin Netanyahu. Let's watch this.
You couldn't have found the clip on X?
I could have, but this clip was a little tighter.
An infusion of $150 million by Israel. Okay? That would double Israel's budget, Turning Point USA's budget. Turning Point USA has an annual budget of $140 million. Netanyahu offered Turning Point $150 million. For one purpose and one purpose only, to shill for Israel harder. Turning Point USA is already pro-Israel. They're not anti-Israel. They've never been anti-Israel. Charlie Kirk has, in the past, criticized Bibi Netanyahu. He has criticized secular left-wing Jewry in America. He has criticized a war with Iran, the famine in Gaza. He has never opposed Israel in itself. He has never explicitly opposed Israel. Israel offered him $150 million to be more pro-Israel than they already were, to be harder in their support for Israel, and in particular, to support regime change in Iran and to support their ethnic cleansing and genocide in Gaza. And Charlie Kirk refused the money.
We're good.
And I have
Yes. And then the day before Charlie went on Megyn Kelly, we'll talk about this in a second. This is clip 7. He had this meeting with Bill Ackman where Nick is right. I'm going to need some more receipts. I heard that Candace put this behind a paywall.
I don't think I think she's been like engagement farming that she would release text messages, but hasn't yet.
That's so,
there was a big back and forth. And I know, I'm trying to think of who was involved. Like Seth Dillon was involved.
Seth Dillon was involved, right?
But
Bill Ackman has come out and he's provided some receipts and he said that it was not acrimonious. And I understand that, but sometimes you can be threatening to somebody so subtly that you can instill fear in them without outright telling them that you're going to blackmail them. And that is something that Jews are really, really good at. They're very good at this.
Just two things before you play the clip. I don't agree with what Fuentes said, okay? First of all, $150 million, that's a lot of money. That obviously represents the value proposition that the Zionists and Bibi Netanyahu placed on Charlie Kirk and his organization. That's not a small chunk of change, okay? So that's the first thing. The value that they see in what he's doing. The second is they weren't asking him necessarily to be more pro-Israel. They were perceiving correctly that they were losing control of Charlie Kirk, that they were losing control of Turning Point USA. And they were trying to corral him back into their corner. And they're feeling the pressure. They, again, meaning AIPAC, Israel, the Israel First community and lobby, their perception is correct that the MAGA base, which ultimately Charlie Kirk represents, was increasingly disenchanted with Israel. And remember that Charlie Kirk is not a leader. He doesn't advance points of view. He's a reactionary. He always has been. He's been pushed in different directions by people like Nick Fuentes. And what was happening, as far as I can tell, is that Kirk was very sensitive to the success of his organization and his own credibility, which were actually on the descent, not on the ascent, because Trump has completely capitulated to Netanyahu. So if anything, I think they were trying to stay the damage. And that's what that $150 million represents. But either way, that suggests that the value proposition to AIPAC and to Benjamin Netanyahu is very, very high. And that suggests that if he did step out of line, and it seems as though he did, that now you have a motivated agent, a motivated actor that could potentially take action against him.
I think that's a good analysis.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what the difference is between those two takes, but yeah, I mean, obviously Turning Point USA was the instrument by which Israel was attempting to get the youth. And under Charlie Kirk's watch, the youth became more and more and more anti-Israel.
Of course.
And so they are trying to get him to do something to stop the bleeding.
Right.
Period. And so, you know, there is this angle of like, this is kind of how the mafia works, right? Where it's like, you don't take the bribe, you get killed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, that is a fairly, I don't think that's very schizo as far as the theory goes.
No.
But at the same time, it could also just be that some goofy, weird guy from Utah with a troon girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, was off his rocker. I mean, it's also possible that it was a cell. There's a lot of possibility. I just don't know.
There are a lot of possibilities. You're exactly right. And I'm not suggesting that this was an Israeli operation. I have no idea. I don't know.
Right.
But I asked earlier, what's the motivation? What's the motivation? You didn't have an answer because it's not clear what the motivation is other than some vague notion of romantic love, okay? Which I don't think is very compelling. On the other hand,
because you've never loved a troon. You don't know.
And on the other hand, we can put a monetary value on what they associated with Charlie Kirk. $150 million.
$150 million, right. Yeah. And Charlie Kirk has taken that much money from Israel probably many times over before.
Well, yeah, I mean, the current budget was $140 million, and a vast majority of
On an
Charlie's,
annual basis?
Yeah, and the vast majority of Charlie's funders were people like Bill Ackman. It was Miriam Adelson. It was, you know, all of these. Who's the guy from Home Depot, right? What was his name? Bernie Marcus.
So Bill Ackman confirmed that he hosted this meeting with Charlie on August 4th and 5th. And here's Charlie talking to Megyn Kelly the very next day on August 6th. This is clip 7.
The Candace Owens clip?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, God forgive us.
Okay.
I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megyn, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been
almost
so
as if
unfair. They were coming after you after a turning point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
Though. No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megyn. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, I mean, you saw it, Megyn. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper paranoid state because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white, and you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megyn. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? Like, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
I mean,
I
have kind of a hot take on this.
Go ahead.
It's been a week. Can we talk about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it is fair for your moral character to be called into question if you've been running cover for Israel for 11 years. That is and it pisses me off that he only became irate about the situation when somebody called his personal, this is egomaniacal, when somebody calls his personal moral character into question. That's when he can no longer take it anymore. He can't, this is the last straw. It's like, well, it is a reflection of your moral character to be entrenched with these people, to be involved with these people that are committing genocide.
But his moral character wasn't being called into question because he was in bed with these people and running cover for genocide.
Right.
It was because he was allegedly questioning Israel
and
second-guessing their decisions and their behavior.
Yeah.
So actually, that's not true. That's not true. And you guys know better than that because Fuentes, Vince James, Dave Riley, Rebecca Hargraves, you guys have been criticizing, deservedly so, or appropriately so, Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk for a long, long time. So actually speaking, he was under attack from both sides. And this is the point I tried to make earlier. Charlie Kirk is not a leader. He's not avant-garde. He's just a reactionary. And what happened to him is he got sandwiched between two groups and he didn't know what to do. And he sensed that his organization, and this is the point I was trying to make earlier, that his organization was imploding. He was bringing on people like Dave Smith and Tucker Carlson because the conservative movement, and I don't like that term because it's bullshit, has been trending away for the last, I would say, 5-6 years. I mean, this is not a new phenomenon. One of the things, and this is the overarching point, Rebecca's 100% right. It has been my experience in life, and I think both of you would echo this, that people communicate pretty unambiguously who they are in about 90 days. 90 to 180 days, you know exactly who they are based on their scruples, based on their self-discipline or lack thereof, based on the deception or truthfulness of their character. You're telling me that Turning Point USA, piloted by Charlie Kirk, bankrolled by Zionists since 2012, that it's a revelation to him that these people behave in the manner that they do? That's a disingenuous bullshit point on his part. He's trying to save face because his organization was losing credibility, and as I said, deservedly so. So again, we need to stop the adulation for Charlie Kirk. He was ensnared, he was entangled by a morass, by a moral quandary that he put himself in when he signed on with people like Bill Ackman. Why are you in meetings with Bill Ackman?
Yeah.
Why are you talking to these people in the beginning? Well, we know why. Because he wanted to raise lots of money. And the point here is that while you guys were getting censored, you specifically, Dave, and Rebecca, when you were getting censored, when you were being threatened online, demonetized, deplatformed, what was Charlie Kirk doing? Well, he was collecting tens of millions of dollars and hobnobbing with the
of millions
elites
of dollars. That's
because
absolutely true.
his moral character was in question the whole goddamn time.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, when he senses that his credibility is falling with his very support base, that's when he decided to come to Jesus. I think it's disingenuous on his part, and I think the man was ensnared in a moral quandary that he put himself in from the beginning.
Absolutely. And watching Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly talk about this was eye-opening because it just shows the level of pressure that Charlie was under to shift to be more reflective of the belief system of his base.
Opinions had evolved. And let's face it, Charlie was like an unofficial spokesperson for the youth of America, in particular conservative youth. And I don't know if people have checked, but they no longer support Israel. And everybody under 30 is against Israel. Charlie was 31.
Yeah, so he saw the writing on the wall. And Max Blumenthal, this is clip 10, also talked about how he was confronted by Groypers constantly, and he had to finally address this. This
being exposed as
58,
fake.
Sorry.
Like, what has the
130.
Babylon Bee been doing for the last
58 seconds.
10?
Yep.
Hold on.
Sorry, that was my bad. My bad.
And this was something that Charlie Kirk was confronted with during the Groyper Wars, where they were accusing him of that. And they were saying, look, why won't you talk about the USS Liberty? Why won't you talk about the major gulf or rift between U.S. interests and Israeli interests? Because you pretend like they're one and the same. And he would shut it down. And then he realized, I can't shut this down anymore. I can't do it. I actually have to listen to my own base. I have to listen to the youth. I can't just manipulate them. They're not falling for it anymore. So this problem will persist.
So do I think that Charlie's conversion was authentic? Does it matter? I mean, we're going to have a little discussion piece about whether or not we should martyr him for our own causes in a little bit. But I have to say that based on what I know about Charlie, him interviewing a rabbi 7 weeks ago now, to talk about the starvation event being complete fabrication, complete propaganda, that wasn't long ago. And that is a massive moral failing. I'm not saying he deserved this or anything like that. Obviously he didn't. This was horrific. And my heart goes out to his family. I've been terribly sad about this. But we can't honestly look at his career and be like, he was turning on the Zios in a meaningful way. Can you turn on the Zios in a meaningful way after you've taken hundreds of millions of their dollars and done their bidding for 13 years, turned young American conservatives into ardent Zionists? Can you really, in a meaningful way, undo all that? I mean, yeah, maybe he was going off the reservation a little bit, but the damage he did.
Well, I don't even necessarily think that it's a matter of him like going off the reservation or, and again, it's not even a matter of him being anti-Israel because he wasn't anti-Israel. The point is that he started criticizing Benjamin Netanyahu and the Likud party specifically, right? There are other political parties in Israel. There are other political leaders in Israel, and we don't know what kind of contact he had with them. Like what we're talking about between Bill Ackman, Miriam Adelson, Ben Shapiro, and Bibi Netanyahu, these are Likud activists specifically. They are the ones that are in power. They're the ones that have prosecuted this war. And so, is it a matter of, turning on Likud? Because it's more specific than just turning on Israel. It's turning on Likud.
Right.
And so I just feel like that needs to be said. There was a tweet that just came to mind.
This is part of a pattern of behavior. And I spoke about that a moment ago with regard to the donors behind Charlie Kirk. But let's set that aside for a moment. Let's just look at Charlie Kirk and his character. He supported H-1Bs. Remember that? He said we should staple green cards to diplomas. What did he do? He pivoted. Why did he pivot? Because of the Groyper movement, because of Nick Fuentes, because of you guys. Okay. Again, the man is not a leader. He's a follower. All right. That was 10 years ago when Donald Trump first started to run in 2015. He told Wired magazine, I don't really like Donald Trump. What did he do? He pivoted when all of a sudden became clear that Donald Trump had lots of support. Okay. And then finally, obviously, this Israeli connection where after 2 years, the Israelis have butchered, murdered, killed tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people in blatant, obvious fashion. Charlie Kirk was a very intelligent, capable person. He just now realized that is morally wrong, that is an unsustainable point of view to support. This is ridiculous. This man was ensnared because of his own character or lack thereof in this particular case. That's why he associates with like Ben Shapiro, who do not give a damn about the interests of the United States, who don't care about our national identity, but who represent a foreign power. And ultimately, that's what Charlie Kirk represented for the vast majority of his political career. And why did he do that? Because he wanted the fast track to success. He never gave a damn about the truth until he was held accountable by his own support base. That's when he changed.
And let that be a lesson to all of us that we can continue to put pressure on the supposed leadership of the conservative youth to continue to move right and to move in the right direction. And that's what happened to Charlie. I mean, whether or not his conversion was authentic, it does represent a meaningful position for us.
Yeah. And, a lot of good it did him taking all this money, because the day after he died, right, Ben Ari Grossman wrote this article, The Wrong Kind of... September 13th, 2025. The Wrong Kind of Friend, Rethinking Charlie Kirk's Support for Israel. And they go on to basically call him an anti-Semite. Yep. And here it is. Charlie sold his soul to them, supported their genocide, engaged in psyops, and they still killed, Adam thinks that Israel killed him for starting to question and then attacked him after his death. Don't work with Zionists. You sell out the country, you put yourself in a precarious situation, and it's very difficult to get disentangled from that afterwards.
Let's talk about
anybody that has attended a Republican event, anybody that's gone to CPAC, anybody that's gone to an RNC convention, what you will see is a political party in the Republican Party that's completely cowed, that is completely compromised and sold out to Israel. You'll see Israeli flags everywhere, okay? Charlie Kirk knew what was going on the whole time. I guarantee even at the age of 20 years old, he probably knew what was really going on. But he made a decision, and that decision was, I want to climb, I want to ascend, and therefore I'm going to bank on the power structure. And I'm going to ride that train as high as I can. And you're exactly right, Dave. Eventually, he got caught up in it, tried to free himself from it, and we see the results. And this is very important for all of you watching and listening, because the man sitting in the White House, in my opinion, has made exactly the same choice. And I think the results will probably be similar, I'm sad to say.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about how everyone is using Charlie's death for their own cause. Can we pull up this clip of Netanyahu addressing these accusations? It's clip 11.
Yes. This is a worldwide problem. The people on the extremes, the Islamists, the radical Islamists, and their union with the ultra progressives. They often speak about human rights. They speak about free speech, but they use violence to try to take down their enemies, whether it's President Trump, who's been almost assassinated twice, or, they try to kill me here too. But they got Charlie Kirk, and it's just heartbreaking. This is a worldwide...
I mean, how did he turn this into something about radical Islamists? And there's another clip of him with Gretchen von... Help me out. I can't remember what her name is. I almost said Whitmer. It's not Whitmer. It's Gretchen something or another, where he talks about how Charlie was the biggest advocate for Israeli causes, where he was the one that everybody could trust. And then he just turned it into victimization of Jews.
Right.
Which is the clip that I meant to link.
on here.
But we didn't.
But I failed. I failed to do that.
And have you seen, there was this video that came out. That's not it. But there was a video that came out where they AI'd Charlie and had him talking about Israel. I can't find it. But it was just like, it came out within hours of his death. Him with like angel wings talking about how important it is to support Israel and all this stuff. And it was AI, and it was just in such poor taste. And, you know, Netanyahu's in the middle of a war, and here he is tweeting about it. He's taking interviews about it. You know, they're all in on attempting to manipulate and use his death for their ends. It's sick. I don't know.
Here, I'll send this to you.
Yeah. But
it's Hustle Bitch.
No, it's from that.
I'll drop it in the chat.
In the chat?
Yeah.
In the chat. I will open it.
But I mean, the way that people are able to pivot and turn this into their event, I mean, I find it morally distasteful, but perhaps it's something that we should also be doing if everybody else is taking the opportunity. We'll talk about that in a little bit. This is the clip.
Before I let you go, I want you to address one thing, and it's just the absurdity of it, some of the internet rumors that somehow Israel is behind the Charlie Kirk murder. And, you know, I don't believe it for 1 second, but I want you to, you know, make a statement. It's so absurd.
That's insane. That's insane. Israel also changes the orbit of the moon. Israel pushes the sun. I mean, the whole thing is, it's not only insane, it's, I think it's so absurd, so stupid, and so ridiculous. You can't believe that people are saying that. They just found the perpetrator. They'll get to the bottom of this. But they go, you know, they have no limits. When you hate Jews, when you hate the Jewish state, you're willing to say anything and promote all these absurd rumors. And by the way, they're willing to kill us all the time. I mean, that's what they're doing. And you know, over the centuries, when Jews, especially in the Middle Ages, the horrific Middle Ages, the worst things were said about Jews you couldn't possibly believe. We were poisoning the wells. We were drinking the blood of Christian children. You name it. I mean, these things, that continued actually up to the Holocaust.
They were, though.
The Nazis said the same thing. You know, we're carrying vermin, we're spreading disease. And people believed it. And every time they believed it, this was a prelude to a greater and greater massacre, culminating with the worst massacre of them all, the Holocaust. Well, since then, we've learned, when people spread these lies about us, prepare yourself for the assault. And, you know, they're trying to delegitimize the state of Israel. Charlie Kirk said to me that, he wrote me this detailed letter, you have to fight the slander. These untruths, these vilifications have consequences. And he was right. But I'll tell you one thing, we're fighting on the battlefield against the terrorists and winning.
No, you're not.
And he was fighting on the battlefield of ideas. And I think he was winning. He was going to win. That's why they shot him. I hope they don't silence him. I don't think people will give in to these ridiculous lies.
Isn't that a masterclass on the Jewish psychology right there? He just talked for like 3 minutes about Jewish victimization historically. He brought in the Holocaust.
Right.
What did he say? He said like two things about Charlie.
Well, first of all, I mean, he opens up with this like, oh, well, that's insane. It's insane. These people never... Okay, well, if it's so insane, then why is there an entire fucking Wikipedia page list of Israeli assassinations dating all the way back to the beginning of the state of Israel, and it goes. And it goes. And goes for fucking ever. I mean, we're only up to 2004, and we're going. I'm going to go all the way to the end of this thing. And furthermore, when you look at what happened in America, JFK, MLK, RFK, right? We have credible circumstantial evidence that Israel was in fact involved in those 3 political assassinations. And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Charlie Kirk's killing like the first political assassination to happen since MLK?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's insane that we would speculate or that people would call into question whether or not Israel somehow had a hand in the killing of Kirk. That's not actually insane. So he's trying to gaslight on that end. And then when he talks about what was going on in the Middle Ages, they did fucking poison the wells. They did kidnap St. Simon of Trent and murder him.
Yep.
And there was another one in England. I can't remember his name right now. Another little saint. This happened. That's real. And the Holocaust really isn't. So that's going to get me in trouble.
Nah, it's fine.
That's going to get me in trouble. But it's true. I'm sorry.
And everybody's finding this distasteful. Let's pull up 12. Even Tucker is like, no. And Candace also ripped him a new one.
Let's see.
BB, not Tucker.
I think the reason that Charlie was able to bridge the gap, particularly in foreign policy, is because he had, for example, genuine affection for Israel. She expressed to me in private many, many times, like, I love Israel.
Gretchen
I don't think we should have another forever war, regime change war against Iran. And I think that made complete sense to me. I sort of agree with that, actually. And so it allowed both sides to talk to him because they felt like this person doesn't hate me. It doesn't need to get existential. It's not about disliking me or some weird bigotry. But I don't think it's helpful for people to jump in, particularly foreign heads of state, to say, this is what, he lived for my cause or whatever. That's disgusting, actually. Don't do that. That turns everybody off. You don't help your own cause by doing that. And it's also literally untrue. So I just hope that we can continue in, I'm not exaggerating, the spirit that he operated in, which is one of love for other people, including people we disagree with, and don't make it, as small bore as that. And that doesn't help.
Yeah, so one of the issues, Tucker,
It's
I
good. We
agree
don't
with
have to
you.
watch all this.
Okay.
And then, of course, have you seen Pam Bondi? I almost called her Ham.
Coming out in the wake of his death, talking about establishing hate speech
Attorney
laws.
General Pam Bondi drawing criticism from both Democrats and Republicans for comments she made on Katie Miller's podcast yesterday, talking about Charlie Kirk.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society. We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
The Attorney General later forced to clarify those remarks, posted on Twitter, quote, hate speech that crosses the line into threats of violence is not protected by the First Amendment. It's a crime. Free speech protects ideas, debate, even dissent, but it does not and will never protect violence. It is clear this violent rhetoric is designed to silence others from voicing conservative ideals. Of course, when...
No, it's designed to force people to not criticize Israel.
That's exactly what, yeah. So that's how they're going to use this angle, of course. And I don't think that Trump cares about this at all. I mean, there's this clip of Trump.
She got some backlash and had to
clarify. Oh, wow. She did have to clarify. Well, that's obviously what she was talking about.
No, it's not.
Across the aisle.
She wants
They all want anti-Semitism laws, yeah,
to be criminalized. And, making violent, actionable threats is illegal anyway. It's not hate speech. There is no such thing as hate speech. Hate speech is free speech.
Right, and her using the term hate speech is incriminating. That is self-incriminating. The fact that she had to go out and say this, hate speech doesn't exist. If she said violent speech,
sure,
or speech that incites violence, but the term hate speech in and of itself, the idea of it is unconstitutional. Not the Constitution is going to protect you anyway. I know we talked about this on Monday, but I found this so Trumpian and distasteful.
Let's play it again.
Let's play it again.
Play it again.
How are you holding up over the last 3.5 days? I think very good.
They said, how are you holding up
over the last 3.5 days with Charlie?
That's happened.
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty. It'll be an absolutely magnificent structure. And I just see all the trucks. We just started, so it'll get done very nicely, and it'll be one of the best anywhere in the world, actually.
So if you're on audio platforms and you couldn't hear that, Trump just used the opportunity after being asked about Charlie Kirk to bloviate about some stupid White House project that nobody gives a shit about.
How are you holding up, Mr. President? I'm doing fine. By the way, you see the trucks over there? We're building a ballroom. It's going to be magnificent. We've wanted it for 150 years, building a tremendous ballroom. It's going to be great. He
played golf all week during Charlie Memorial services.
He was dancing at the YMCA.
Yeah, Yeah.
Look, I think what you guys are saying is true, but I think there's a bigger picture that is far more important that we need to take away. The first is that, yeah, Trump did what he always does. He's a marketing guy and he redirects. That's exactly what Bibi Netanyahu did, right, during his interview as well. And that, I think, is reflective of, to some degree, what Charlie Kirk represented in life. A kind of politics that's artificial. I think Charlie Kirk's rise, to a large extent, was artificial. I think his organization was a front. I don't think it represented the grassroots, the organic national identity, the fever that people in the United States, particularly on the street level, feel. I do not believe for a second that Charlie Kirk was orchestrating a mass awakening online. That was coming from people like you guys. That was coming from Nick Fuentes. That was coming from the Groyper movement, among many others, right? That were fanning the flames of skepticism. That's where it came from, not Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk represented in life the politics of a dialogue that was controlled, that was contained, right? A free speech that would only go but so far. And that is dead. That political game, that political calculation, it's over. Now we're entering a new politics. And I think what Charlie Kirk's death represents, and I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's a watershed moment. I don't think it is. As emotional as people are over the tragic death of Charlie Kirk, and it is tragic, it's horrifying. I think what it's doing is it's sort of facilitating, it's ferrying us down this road of an awareness that the old ways of doing things, they're over. And now we're entering into a kind of rigidification. Our position against faux MAGA, against the artificial conservative movement, against the state itself, against Zionism is hardening, right? It is a rigidification that is happening. The opposite, I think, maybe, of what the intended effect was, if in fact Charlie Kirk was murdered for a purpose. And I happen to think that he probably was. I also think it represents the end of the Faustian bargain with Zionism. And, you know, this speaks to the real nature, the real subject of our podcast. This is what Dave has said, correctly so, a number of times, that the real enemy, the center of gravity that we're dealing with, is a subversive foreign influence. A subversive foreign influence that's both in the United States, but also in the state of Israel. And the Faustian bargain that the MAGA movement made with that group was basically that if you permit us to be president, then we'll give you whatever you want. And that's more or less the same pact that's been made by every major political figure or movement in the United States since probably the 1960s.
Yeah.
That Faustian bargain ultimately is falling apart. And I think Charlie Kirk's death represents the end of that bargain. And now we're entering into, I think, an age of truth in which people are not going to let this go. They don't trust the FBI. They don't trust the government. They certainly don't trust Donald Trump. They don't believe the talking points anymore. The redirects are not going to work. And as I've said for the last several months, the Epstein issue, it's not going to go away. Questioning AIPAC, that's not going to go away. This sort of festering sense that the United States is at a tipping point, that we're facing an existential moment, which we are, that we've got to kick into gear and build something that transcends politics. That's what Charlie Kirk's death ultimately represents. The politics that he practiced are over. Now we're entering into something else. And I think you're going to see a lot more collateral damage in the wake of that shift into a new direction.
Right.
And not only that, but there's something happening. I found this AI slop clip that I kind of want to play just to like read it into the record in case it gets deleted. And I'll at least
memory hold.
I'll at least know that it's on the show and I can go back and find it. But you know, I do in a way I do disagree a little bit about this being a watershed moment, just because over the last week, it's been 1 week, I have Sorry about that. I have received phone calls from moderates, from establishment people, from down in Boise and other places that I never thought that I would be getting the call from, where they are finally getting it. They're like, okay, I understand what's happening now. And it's happening because of, in some sense, it is happening because of some of the stuff like this clip that we're going to play here in a second. The Zionists are overplaying their hand. They are so fanatic and crazy, and they are pushing so hard. Netanyahu on TV, the tweets, the articles coming from, Jerusalem Post or Haaretz or wherever they were coming from, they are making a tremendous error, and I'm kind of happy that we have like a smaller show, because never interrupt an enemy when they're making an error, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's even at the local level here with that Zionist church. I was at a meeting last night with like 30 people, young men, all men, never had anything like that happen before. Like these types of meetings are getting put together, and we're going out.
This was a normie conversion event.
Yeah. And one of the people that was at this event was telling me that they used to go to the Zionist church. And it was specifically because of the way that pastor was talking and pushing that drove him out of the church. And not just him, the kids.
This is a grave, let's watch this. I have some follow-up, but this is a great, I agree with you. I think this is a grave miscalculation.
And it's great. Please keep going.
Yeah.
Please keep doing what you're doing.
This, and then
it's fantastic.
Don't worry about me. I'm in a better place now. But America and Israel, from this day on, will never be the same. This is the wake-up call. They tried to shut me up. They couldn't stand a voice that didn't sound like theirs. And that's exactly why we have to fight. We exposed the lie. I spoke the truth, and they hated every second of it. I know you guys are hurting. It feels like you lost me. But you didn't. You can't kill an idea. You can't murder faith. The spirit, it doesn't break. They mocked me. I kept going. Tried to silence me, I spoke louder. They warned me, no way. Truth's worth the price every single time. America was built on faith, on freedom, on family. Same with Israel. Standing tall, fighting back, never backing down. That's our bond. That's our story. Here's the thing.
Did this go
Those who
mega
tried to scare
viral?
me only made
How
me
viral are we
stronger.
talking?
Those who tried to silence me proved I was right. So I'm asking you, don't go quiet. Don't bend. Don't give in. America needs you. Israel needs you. And when people remember me, let it be for courage, for faith, for hope. Because this wasn't the end. This was the opening shot of a change that's coming.
Okay, I can't watch any more of this. How many views? Oh, I guess this wasn't the original one.
That's not the original, but this had 250,000 views on it.
If you're emotionally manipulated on this level, I hate you.
Bro, and it's not just, it's so distasteful.
It's distasteful, yeah.
To use AI and put words in a dead guy's mouth like that.
Their attempts to take over Turning Point USA are going to massively backfire. Can you pull up 15? First of all, there was this attempt to blame Groypers, which is, it's so retarded because he had run fascist on one of his bullets. And people are, he's clearly a Groyper. So this originated on Reddit. I mean, I believe
it originated from Milo.
Oh, yeah. Milo is also doing some damage.
Yeah.
There's this campaign to blame Groypers. I think that Nick mentioned at the beginning of the show that like a quarter of Gen Z believes that the shooter was a Groyper. And then let's pull up 16. Ben Shapiro heavily suggested that he's going to be at the helm of TP USA.
Yeah, he said he was going to pick up the
bloodstained microphone.
Oh, yeah, here, let's watch it.
Because we're Americans, and we're not going to be deterred. Charlie's voice is not silent. We're going to pick up that bloodstained microphone where Charlie left it. Because we're Americans.
Now,
That's fucked up.
If Ben Shapiro, I actually advocate for Ben Shapiro taking over Turning Point USA. I think it would be fantastic because he's going to come up. I think I read this from Anglin, so I don't want to rip him off, but he is totally right. He's going to come up
with his Mossad sniper security team. He's going to be talking about how we should love Israel and we should turn Gaza into glass. And everybody's going to fucking hate it.
Yeah.
With his nasally voice and his stupid face and his dumbass yarmulke, people are going to be like, nope. So I want Ben Shapiro to be the face of Turning Point USA.
Yeah, no, I mean, never interrupt an enemy when they're making a mistake.
Right.
This is a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
They are screwing the pooch on this thing. So, I mean, they really should hire an anti-Semite to help them.
Yeah.
For sale. No, I'm kidding. I would never do that. But it's just so unbelievably bad.
Yeah.
This campaign that they're running. It is going to accelerate. It's going to accelerate this stuff. And there was actually a post which I should be able to pull up fairly quickly here. Have you seen? He does this YouTube channel called like History. He analyzes history to kind of predict.
Is it Zoomer
future
historian?
events? No. He's like this like Asian guy. Predictive history. That's his name. And he's got
right? We have the technology to do this. So Israel could do it this secretly, and no one would talk about it. And in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, the population of Gaza would all be gone. It would be a very secret, right? Instead, they choose to do this in front of the world. And my argument to you is that this is intentional. They want the world to hate them. Because by doing this, they create the ultimate taboo, right? We find this disgusting and contemptuous, so the entire world will unite against Israel. But guess what? That's what their religion wants. In the extreme form of Jewish eschatology, or the religion, they believe that at the end of the world, Israel will fight the entire world and God will help Israel triumph in the end. So what's really happening in Gaza is that there are extremists within the Israel government who want to accelerate the process of the end of the world, where Israel will face the world. And if you think about it, the entire idea of this ritual sacrifice is to unite the Israeli population. And what's extremely disturbing and horrifying about it is that this works. Why? Well, let's use an analogy, okay? The analogy is this. In Chinese history, the most popular military stratagem is to fight with a river behind your back. You guys have heard of this strategy, right? Where, okay, an army is losing, okay? It's being scattered by the enemy. So what the general does is forces the army to retreat to a river. And now with a river blocking your escape, you have a choice. You can either drown in the river or you can fight to the death. And most soldiers will choose to fight to the death.
Burning the fleet.
At this point, the soldiers are unified. They're galvanized. They're energized. And then they find a surge of energy to go and destroy their enemy.
So that's basically the whole gist of the thing. But there's kind of an element of that going on, isn't there?
Do you think this is true, Cameron?
No, that's a failure. It's a failure. It's elegantly structured, and Dave's right. There is an element of truth to it. He's right about eschatology, and he's right about the Jewish psyche in that sense. They do perceive themselves to be separate and distinct from the world, and they do perceive at any moment that the whole world could be an enemy. Right? This is a sort of paranoia that fuels their revolutionary character. But actually, a better explanation, a better understanding of this comes from Dave's old boss, Michael Jones, who wrote about it in The Jewish Revolutionary Spirit. One of the things that I talk about on my YouTube channel, and I've written about extensively, is that all peoples ultimately are archetypes, right? There is a kind of reversion to the mean. Couple nights ago, I was in Poland, and I went to a very special event that was the commemoration of a famous battle that was fought 1,000 years ago. And that battle is more or less the inception of Poland as a country. And there's a nice mosaic there, and there's the Polish eagle that you'll see, which goes back to their history. And then throughout the course of the night, I spent time, and I've been to Poland a few times, and I have many, many friends who are Poles. And the Poles, if you've ever been around them as a group, they're very communal. They like to drink. They like to sing. There is a particular Polish character. There is an archetype. There's a togetherness that you feel. This kind of sentimentality you will see in all peoples across the world. You'll see it in Germans. It's expressed differently. You'll see it in Czechs. You'll see it in Colombians. You'll see it in Spaniards. And I've been to all these countries, and I've been very blessed to interact with a lot of different kinds of peoples. What's the Jewish archetype? What is it? Well, according to E. Michael Jones, and I think he's right, there is a revolutionary archetype. There is a subversiveness. And that subversiveness is a gun that doesn't stop going off. It's constantly firing in all directions. And that's the problem with the analogy that we just saw, is that it imputes to them a sense of rationality and a forward thinking that many people in our space attribute to them. You guys too, all the time. But that doesn't really understand the archetype, which is subversion for subversion's sake. And ultimately, that process is self-destruction. And what are we seeing happening in Israel? We're seeing the destruction of the Israeli state. We're not seeing the Jewish population unify around Netanyahu. His government is in flames. The reason why Netanyahu is so obsessed with American politics, and with Donald Trump in particular, is because we are the lifeline. Without us, his entire regime and country collapse into smithereens. And that is effectively what I think is happening, because inside the United States, at the same time as Israel internally is divided and fragmented and vulnerable, the Jewish power structure is losing momentum. And I'm not sure what happened to Charlie Kirk, but as I said a moment ago, what his death represents, as you alluded to, Dave, is another awakening of consciousness in which the white population, the ethnos that defines the United States, that archetype is beginning to wake up and say, hold on a second here. We didn't sign on for this. We're not a part of the Zionist global project to fight the world. And so that tells you where we're headed. Ultimately, at the end of the day, all populations, all nations, all peoples revert back to that archetype, and that cannot be stopped. Propaganda is not going to subvert it or undermine it or redirect it, and that's ultimately what the Bolshevization of politics, this sort of extremism, the assassinations, right? Destroying buildings, blowing things up. Far from destroying us, it's actually having the opposite effect. And I think the same thing is happening in Gaza. I fundamentally believe that the Arab street, that the archetype of the Semitic peoples, right? The Bedouin tribes, I think that those people are coming awake as well. And regimes will fall if they do not oppose the state of Israel. So they are engineering their own self-destruction because of the revolutionary archetype that defines them and has for the last several thousand years.
Yeah, revolutionary spirit. I mean, you're right, too, about what's going on in Israel right now. This was from the Times of Israel yesterday. Protests against the operations happening in Gaza City that are being conducted. The title of the article was, no peace for PM until war stops as new Gaza ground op begins. So yeah, they are the extremists are unified, but
just real quick. I'm sorry, just real quick. What's happening, and I can't stress this enough because this is so important to understand, right? You have to understand the nature of who you're dealing with. This is not about strategy. Right? This is about sentimentality. This is about emotion. And as I said earlier, when you're emotional, right, you behave erratically. You stop thinking. You stop strategizing. Instead, you start reacting. And that's what they're doing. They're not strategically focused. They're off their game. And that's why they're self-destructing. That's why they're derailing. I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I think the Western archetype, the white, the European consciousness leads us to take a step back and take a more measured approach. I'm going to talk about this in my rant, as a matter of fact.
So I am liking the kind of strategies that we're seeing in terms of cancel culture with Charlie. And I did want to talk a little bit about this this Blumenthal clip, which just filled me with absolute rage, because I think it is a testament to him reverting to Jewish archetype, right?
Jobs. It's a dystopian scenario. The right wing is playing cancel culture to the extreme, but it's playing to win. Unlike the left, which was sort of just trying to enforce a very narrow moral code by getting people canceled or going after, people in the media within their own media organizations and so on. The right is playing to win. They want to fully isolate dissent, left-wing dissent from society, and they're exploiting this.
Yes, I do.
In a way that raises a lot of questions there's been no full investigation of this shooting yet. Tyler Robinson is not cooperating. I haven't seen the confession. Apparently everyone close to him is cooperating. We don't have the information, but they don't care. They want to ram through this agenda, which totally dovetails with what they've been doing with ICE. ICE isn't just about immigration. It's about normalizing secret police in our society that violate people's Fourth and Sixth Amendment rights and are able to essentially kidnap anyone who is a resident in the U.S. and take them to de facto concentration camps. And the budget, Trump's big, beautiful bill, has put these secret police on hyperdrive. The kidnapping of Latinos who are suspected.
We'll kill it there.
And he goes, generally I've liked Max Blumenthal, and then I watched this and I was like, oh my God, he doesn't understand that in our situation, the means do justify the ends. This might be a war that the entire world may hang in the balance.
He didn't make the criticism, but the right weaponizing cancel, if the right was weaponizing cancel culture over the Israel thing, which they've basically been doing, that's what happened to me in 2021 and 2022, and again 2023 when I got fired from the Idaho Freedom Foundation. There's very clearly a push between the Pam Bondi hate speech thing, Palantir, the databases, and all this kind of stuff, where they want to cancel people for being critical of Israel and all of that. But at the same time, this current wave of cancel culture or whatever has just been the right-wing lash out, and it's been across the board, anti-Semites included. I've participated in it. You've participated in it.
Hell yeah,
Sandra Fairbanks, all these people. Mm-hmm. I'm loving it. It's great. We are doing damage to not only our enemies ideologically, politically, but they are the enemies of civil society itself. These people are sick, twisted freaks that go around cutting their children's genitals up and then, trying to, I saw a tweet earlier today where Antifa's oh no, we can't call for assassinations anymore. And it's yeah, bitch, fuck you, So I don't agree with him on this particular take.
The idea. Go ahead.
Another book that's essential to read. In fact, I would say it's canon and foundational is 200 Years Together.
Yes,
I know that that's a book that Rebecca and Dave are well versed in. It's not easy to get, but you should get it. In that book, there's a lot of information. It's 800 pages, but the Jewish revolutionary character is, I think, examined. I think it's described. I think it's characterized in ways that you probably won't see anywhere else. And this is just one quote of many, but just listen to these two sentences. He says, "Let this serve as," he's quoting people in the book in this particular paragraph. He says, "Let this serve as a basis for an autonomous action of the Jewish mass. We are obstinately pursuing our goal, the destruction of the current political regime." Now, how are you supposed to engage in dialogue? How are you supposed to mollify a revolutionary character, a revolutionary spirit, again, to use Michael Jones' term, that wants the destruction of your entire society, of your identity, of the foundation of the world that you live in? And that is ultimately what you see on college campuses, the radicalization of these very, I think in many cases, fragile, vulnerable young people who may be a little bit different, maybe a little bit weird, and in inciting in them a sense of hatred
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No, Cameron.
He'll come back.
He'll be back.
This does lead perfectly into the piece that I wrote.
No, geez.
It does.
Oh, well, I'm saying, oh, geez, because he's not here.
A very unflattering clip for him to be frozen on, too.
Yeah.
Wait, it does.
Cameron, if you can hear
Son
us,
of
join back in, all right?
It's buffering.
We lost you.
All right, Cameron, if you can hear us, say something. Yeah, there we go. He's going to log out and log back in again. In the meantime, I did want to pull up. There was a couple of tweets that are probably off topic, but I'm just going to put it in as filler. One of those is from Charles Johnson again. If I can find my cursor.
He's back.
Is he back?
Mm-hmm.
Hold up two fingers.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
Go
my,
ahead,
my
Cameron.
apologies. I don't know where I left off, but anyway, the short of it is that we are dealing with opposition that wants nothing less than our destruction. And you cannot negotiate your way through that as if it's normal political discourse. And that's the premise of Blumenthal's argument. It is not fit for purpose. We don't live in that kind of political environment anymore. And proof positive of that is the tragic death of Charlie Kirk, a person who, to his credit, engaged in dialogue all the time. And with all due respect to those who think he made a huge impact, I don't think he did. And I think he paid for it with his life. It's just very sad and tragic.
Absolutely.
There is, and I guess to kind of follow up on what Blumenthal was saying about the cancel culture and all this kind of stuff, this comes from Wurzel Root. They are opening investigations. I guess on October 8th, there will be a House Oversight Committee that will be talking with the CEOs from Discord, Twitch, and Reddit as a part of this. Though they're radicalizing people, but this is it's not about left-wing stuff. It's about Israel. It's not about the left wing, which is like the reason why we're engaging in the cancel culture is to get these fucking crazy leftists and to do some level of harm to them.
Well,
what the
Blumenthal is
administration
right.
is doing is going after Twitch. They're going after Discord and Reddit because that's where the anti-Israel people are proliferating and organizing. And
Blumenthal was right about that, though. He's like, the right is playing to win, and they want leftist discourse eradicated from the conversation. And I'm like, that's exactly where I am.
I want that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to have this open discussion. I want these terrible, diabolical philosophies to be eradicated within Western culture. That's that. I mean,
they don't want to dialogue with us. They don't want to argue with us and change our minds. Like this comes from Andy. No, they want to fucking kill us. This is, I guess, from some Antifa chat where they're admitting fearing the loss of their ability to mark conservatives for death with no pushback. And that's how they've operated. You remember the guy in Portland that got shot in the back of the head by, was it not Ralph? I forget his name, but he got shot in the back of his head. They've been doing this. They have been either assassinating or character assassinating people for years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want to dialogue with these people. I don't want to come to terms with these people. I want to, use whatever power we have to crush them.
Even if that means using their tactics. Go ahead, Cameron.
Yeah, two things. And that, what you said, Dave, that speaks to the true culprit, the true agent of Charlie Kirk's destruction. I don't, as I said, I don't know the details. Maybe it was this Robertson person. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was some kind of foreign power, right? I have no idea. But that's just the trigger. The larger cause has been our tolerance for the last half century plus, our tolerance of the hippie radicalism, our tolerance of the filth in our large cities across the Western world, not just in the United States, our tolerance of the drug problem, our tolerance of the anti-Americanism. This is not a recent development. This has been festering in the universities for decades upon decades upon decades. And we know exactly who's doing it. And there was never any opportunity. There was never any realistic path, as I said earlier, that you could mollify these people in some kind of a debate. That was never going to happen. But we tolerated it and tolerated it and tolerated it. And now we're facing an existential crisis. And we have no choice. We have to defend ourselves, or we are going to lose everything. Our lives, our civilization, our identity, the works. The second part of what you said is also true. And this is a point that I've made at the beginning of this podcast and throughout, because there's a common misconception on the right that in order to prevail, you have to decentralize power. You have to devolve the state. No, you don't. Concentrated power is required to defeat concentrated power. That's the one thing in the lecture that we just saw about the river defense. You have to consolidate your position. You have to restore order before you can start layering rights on top of it. We are now in an environment in which we need state power. We just need to exercise state power on our behalf. And ultimately, that's what Trump represented, right? That's why people elected him. And if you recall, when he was elected in 2016, there were more than a few libertarians that were unsettled by him, that were perplexed, that didn't understand why Donald Trump was taking the actions they did. He was trying to exercise state power to restore order in our society because we're facing an existential threat. And that is the way forward. We must concentrate power to defeat a concentrated power that's arrayed against us. That's 100% right, Dave.
Absolutely.
Okay, I was supposed to respond to that.
Oh, go ahead.
I agree. Thank you. I don't know. Yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, when you've got these massive corporations, state power, they want you playing in this game of, oh, I'm an individual, I'm a radical, I'm going to pull myself from my bootstraps. Mm-hmm. I'm going to, I don't need anybody. I can do it myself. Bullshit. Collective power. We need to work together. We need to form groups. We need to take over the government, wield that power to make a society that we want to live in. Period. That's how it works.
Yep.
That's how it works. Sorry.
Get your last minute super chats into the backlash.net/super chat. And this is what I wanted to discuss. So well done, guys, for accidentally teeing me up because I know neither of you read it.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about.
I look at the show notes.
No, you don't.
I do.
All right, this is a new segment, Rebecca Rants. We'll get a lower third at some point.
Oh.
Blah. Rebecca Rants.
Oh, we're already there? Okay, hold on. I got to move the thing over. I apologize.
This guy
over here.
I gave you some hints.
You did, but not enough. I thought that there was one segment before.
I don't know. I skipped some stuff that didn't seem pertinent anymore,
Clearly.
Because Cameron didn't read the outline, so we stepped all over my conclusion.
I apologize.
I said Cameron.
Oh, I can't tell. Here we go.
I know everybody's familiar with Saul Alinsky, the Jewish community organizer and author of Rules for Radicals. But in his book, he explores opportunism. So any event, tragic or disruptive, that can and should be harnessed to maintain momentum and pressure on opponents for the group's benefit. He says, the 8th rule, keep the pressure on with different tactics and actions and utilize all events of the period for your purpose. And that is absolutely what they're doing. As we discussed during the show, the left is doing this. The right is doing this. Should we as well? And before I explore this, I need to emphasize that white people must not lose. We are presently 7% of the world population, but the world is and has been completely reliant on the productivity and industriousness of the West to save lives, especially in the third world, and to improve quality of life across the globe. So I had an interesting conversation with Grok. It was enlightening. I asked questions to Grok to get Grok to estimate the number of lives saved through white advancements in history. And this is what Grok said. Western contributions have profoundly impacted global life expectancy and mortality reduction through innovations in medicine, agriculture, technology, et cetera, et cetera. This list aims to be as exhaustive as possible based on historical and contemporary data. The total estimated lives saved across all 3.3 to 5 billion. So Grok cites agricultural innovations, medical treatments, drugs, vaccines, immunization, sanitation, hygiene, public health, surgical and diagnostic advancements,
safety, infrastructure, technology, humanitarian aid, global health initiatives, other broad contributions like the printing press, GPS and compass, light bulb electricity, and smartphones and the internet. An estimated 3 to 5 billion lives saved. And this does not include the quality of life improvement that is enjoyed by the rest of the world. White people feel like they have a mission to improve the world for all people. That is our moral duty. There is no other group on earth that feels like this. When we're disempowered or even eradicated as a group, no one is going to step up and take the reins. The world will descend into chaos, into darkness, disease, anarchy. So with this in mind, is it appropriate? Is it even moral to adopt just straight up Machiavellian tactics? And I believe that it is. And I want to be clear here. Indiscriminate or offensive political violence is not going to further our cause. We need to be smarter than this. But we still have to protect our mission. We have to protect our people. And we cannot allow ourselves to be defeated because we're unwilling to violate our principles. The fate of the world hangs in the balance. Yet we cannot become the darkness. Everyone knows this Nietzsche quote. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. But he was a nihilist, which should make us ask, is that always the outcome? And I believe that we are capable and we can compose ourselves after we win and not become what we hate. So I prefer this quote by Joseph Campbell. It is by going down into the abyss that we recover the treasures of life. Where you stumble, there lies treasure, your treasure. So we can use the tactics that we need to use, but it must help us to become something greater than the left. Otherwise, it is not morally justified. We have to be more measured, more careful, and most importantly, we have to be more effective. So what does this look like? I don't have all the answers. I'm a middle-aged Idaho mom. I don't know. How can we do this? And your ideas will be pivotal in the coming weeks and months and years because this movement, it's not driven by us, it's driven by you. It's driven by you, the viewer, the watcher, the person that is in the audience, that is in their local community. I need your ideas. So please let me know in the comment section below, what does this look like? How do we grow beyond the left? Use their tactics, which are immoral, to become something better, to save the world. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think all of their tactics are immoral.
A lot of them are. They are
Assassination, slander, lying about your neighbor, bearing false witness, murder, like that's immoral.
That is rules for radicals.
Not necessarily.
Almost even using a tragedy for your personal benefit. I mean, I'll do it, but I find it gross.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, that's that whole, who was that guy? Never let a good crisis go to waste. Was that David Axelrod?
I can't remember. It came up when I was doing my research.
I think it was.
I think people attribute it to Saul Alinsky.
But this idea of like using cancel culture against our enemies, shaming people for being nihilistic.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, well, what are you talking about?
I'm not talking about offensive political violence.
Okay. Well, I mean,
cancel culture, who gives a fuck? These people lose their job. Oh no, I lost my job. Like, can you think about that compared to what we've been up against for the last decade?
I do like when I see videos of like unhinged leftists that attack like a crowd of MAGA people and then like, you know, somebody will like surround them and then start kicking their shit in. But that's self-defense.
Yeah.
So
I'm asking, what do you guys think we should do? Because I think that we should take rules for radicals and I think that we should adopt it as our own playbook.
But yeah, but we've been doing that.
No, we haven't. Look
at
what Max Blumenthal said. He's just now realizing the right is in it to win it. This is the only time I've ever seen the right get together and unify around getting people fired. It's the only time. Every other time it's been like, well, we can't do that because that's a violation of our moral character. No, none of this shit anymore.
You people haven't been using rules for radicals?
I don't think they have.
I have been.
Good.
Ever since I read the book, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. I'm obviously doing all of this.
That's because you're a skeevy Jew, though.
I'm Italian.
I'm Italian.
Listen, Machiavelli came from my people, okay? Listen.
Cameron, what do you think?
So the first thing to note is that we are climbing the escalatory ladder and climbing fast. And we need to look into the mirror. We need to look into the abyss and be very open and honest about that. I've listened to a lot of folks over the last few weeks repeat the same talking points. You can anticipate them virtually to the syllable at this stage, right? We need to dial down the rhetoric. We need to turn away from social media. That's a fantasy. And I think most people know that at this stage. You guys certainly know that. So number one, we need to realize that we're on the escalatory ladder and things are going to start to pick up in pace. And I think you're going to start to see some truly spectacular, scary things begin to happen, particularly as the economy melts down. And that's happening in the background. And that's something that, as I've said before, a lot of politicos are myopically focused on what's happening in the political arena or that theater. But what's happening financially, what's happening economically is far more important. That ultimately is going to be the accelerator, in my opinion. So that's the first, is that the escalatory train has left the station. So pay attention, get engaged, understand that the landscape is changing. And I think Kirk's death, though tragic, is awakening people to that, as both of you hinted earlier. That's the first. The second is, and I have a different point of view on this, I suppose, than most in our space, but I was asked over the weekend, what is the biggest problem with the nationalists? And I don't like the term right, left. I just don't think that is apropos anymore. I think basically it's sovereignty and nationalism against the globalists, right? Against the Jewish revolutionary archetype and all of its various iterations. That's really the landscape that we're in. And my answer was, we lack imagination. We are so myopically focused. Perhaps we're intellectually paralyzed to some degree by fixating on what happens politically. What happens inside of DC at this stage is irrelevant. It's just not terribly meaningful anymore. We know exactly what these people are going to do. We know the talking points they're going to use. We know the playbook. We know the misdirection. So what we need to do is use our imagination. We need to reorganize ourselves. And you're beginning to see that happen. In England, in France, in Germany, you're starting to see at the street level, as I've been saying, organic, spontaneous reorganization to push back and push back together. Thirdly, we need to have faith. We need to have faith in the archetypes. We need to have faith in the underlying ethnos, that conflict ultimately defines nations and that the archetype will rise to that occasion. You don't really know who's strong and who's weak until the moment of crisis comes. You can't know that. So people that say, well, this person's a coward, this person's strong, this person just plays video games all day long, therefore they're relevant, they won't do anything. That is an egregious miscalculation. That's just not the case. You can't know how people are really going to react until you take them out of a controlled environment. And so you must have faith in the underlying ethnos, the spirit of Western peoples, of American peoples, the same people who forged a civilization in a barren wilderness and did so under very difficult circumstances. That archetype is going to resurface, and not just in the United States either. And fourthly, where we're headed, and this is why I said earlier, I don't think that Kirk's death is the watershed moment that everybody else does, in the United States anyway. We are headed for a mass mobilization event. And a mass mobilization event will come at a mysterious time. It's hard to say exactly when a moment like that will arise. I think it will likely come from something small rather than something big. It's this sort of black swan type event. And remember that black swans are not always bad. Sometimes they are good, right? It can be any number of things. It simply disrupts your model, your political landscape, your economic system. And in this sense, disruption favors us, not the other side, right? So we are headed for some kind of mass mobilization event in which a new cadre, in which new charismatics are going to rise. And that's going to reorganize our politics and reintegrate the ethnos into the state. That's where we're headed. The particulars of that, nobody can know. How exactly that unfolds is impossible to predict. But the archetypes, the faith, the imagination that we possess, and we possess it to a far greater magnitude than our opposition, that ultimately is going to carry the day. What you should do at home, what you should do if you're driving a UPS truck across the United States, is process, digest, and prepare. Prepare for what comes next. Expect the unexpected. And if you do, then you'll be ready. You'll react the right way when the time comes.
I cannot get over the fact that you haven't been using rules for radicals or that you think it's immoral.
Who, me? Oh, no, I have.
Then who hasn't been?
The vast majority of our movement.
Really?
Yeah.
By our movement, you mean the radical right, Groyper, whatever?
I think the Groypers have warmed up to
because
it.
I'm going to read the rules. I got the rules on the screen. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to read the first line.
You can skip 8.
Because they are not immoral. I don't think they're immoral. Some may be, but on the whole, they're not. Rule 1, power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. Rule 2, never go outside the expertise of your people. Rule 3, whenever possible, go outside the expertise of the enemy. Rule 4, make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. Rule 5, ridicule is man's most potent weapon. Rule 6, a good tactic is one your people enjoy. Rule 7, a tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag. Rule 8, keep the pressure on, never let up. Rule 9, the threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. Rule 10, if you push a negative hard enough, it will push through and become a positive. Rule 11, the price of a successful attack is a constructive alternative. Rule 12, pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, and polarize it.
But
those are the rules for radicals.
Yes, but those are simplistic. And the way that he elaborates, he obviously condones all sorts of things that we would find morally detestable.
Like what?
In the book, he I mean, if even some of these examples are not great. Scroll up.
8.
Let's see. No, I talked about 8. Keep going up. There's one about anxiety. Okay, this is a Jewish tactic. If the rule is that every letter gets a reply, wait, scroll up. Send 30,000 letters.
What? Where are we looking? Down? Up? Rule 4. Okay. If the rule is that every letter gets a reply, then send 30,000 letters. You can kill them with this because no one can possibly obey all of their own rules.
This is something that we would not do.
What are you talking about?
But we should be.
So, for example, one of the ways that I apply this particular rule for radicals, when people campaign, they have text message campaigns. Yeah. They send you a text, hey, make sure you come out to vote on Tuesday. And if it's somebody that I don't like, guess what? They have to pay every time I reply to them.
Yeah.
So I text the living shit out of them, and I drive the bill up,
Dave,
and I tell everyone around me to do that.
You are atypical of the movement.
No.
We are not doing that in mass.
Really?
No, we're not doing stuff like this.
Well, get with it, people.
That's what I'm saying. That's what my whole That's what my whole gay little speech was about. We need to be doing Jewish stuff like this all the time.
Yeah. Well, not Jewish, but just
bogging them
smart.
down. No, these are Jewish tactics.
He was Catholic.
Saul Alinsky was not Catholic. Saul Alinsky came from a Jewish family, an Orthodox Jewish family. Can't back me up here.
I think she's right, Dave.
Saul, oh yeah, okay, never mind. Yeah, okay, hey, fuck me. All right, I was wrong about that.
How did you not know that Saul Alinsky?
I don't know. Saul Alinsky would hang out with Pope Paul VI like all the time. He hung out with.
That's because the Catholic Church is paused. Look at his picture.
That's bad, actually. This is a mark in the column for sedevacantism. Okay.
Look at his Jewish face. Look at that.
Yeah,
Oy
right.
vey.
Yeah, okay, I didn't know. I forgot maybe. I've Swiss cheese brains. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, see, look right here. A return to Catholic action from U.S. Catholic Magazine.
Yeah, no.
They he would work
This
with...
is because the Catholic Church has been infiltrated by Jews.
Okay.
Saul
he was
Alinsky,
a community organizer in Chicago.
Saul Alinsky was the skeeviest, heebiest community organizer, piece of shit, asshole Jew that ever existed.
Yeah, we absolutely have to be using those tactics.
Totally.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Fist
Sorry about
bump.
that. Clip that.
Yeah, really. Hey, shorts guy, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, and just before we go into our super chat segment, I also did want to mention that there is this big thing going on, and I tweeted about it, and people didn't understand what I was trying to say. And I guess maybe I'm a little paranoid or something. TPUSA, let me get the tweet up. This is an event that's going to be happening on September 21st. So I guess that's Saturday or Sunday.
Arizona.
I am extremely concerned about this event. Number one, you've got Donald Trump, you got the president, the vice president, the chief of staff, the secretary, Marco Rubio, right? You've got HHS, Robert Kennedy, Secretary of War, the Director of National Intelligence.
That's a lot of people in the same place.
The possibility of like a decapitation strike at this point in time, to me, screams, hey, don't put all of those people in the same room, idiot. Why would you do that? And then just today, we have a terror threat at the Charlie Kirk Memorial down in Phoenix, Arizona. There was a bomb threat that happened down there. And I guess I'm just saying I am concerned in the wake of Butler, in the wake of the Charlie Kirk killing, the Ryan Routh attempted shooting at the golf course, plus, with what's happening, we're in World War III, for God's sakes. Let's not put all of our people in one fucking room. Yeah. Hello?
I'm sure
Am
they're
I
going to
crazy?
have bomb security. No, you're being totally rational. They should not be doing this.
Well, I tweeted that out, and everybody said I'm going to get arrested for that. That me saying that was a threat.
No, this is clearly stupid.
My followers, I need better followers on Twitter, guys.
Don't dunk on your followers. I'm grateful to every single one of you for following me. Please send your last minute super chats to backlash.net.
Jewish ones.
/super chat.
Yes.
Singular.
But
first.
Well, I was going to say one of the things, with this geopolitical tension that's going on is what happened today. We had the Fed meeting. The Fed meeting, they finally cut 25 basis points, but gold, Cameron, I don't know if you saw this, gold today looked like a fucking meme coin.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Is this even updating? That's Bitcoin. That's why it doesn't look goofy. I'm like, wait a minute, this looks there we go. Look at this. It had, how many percentage points is this? A 2% swing within like 30 minutes. Up to $3,738.70, which is a all-time high. And so the point is that the markets are getting crazy. Cameron mentioned the other day that Donald Trump is going to be implementing reporting policies where corporations don't have to report every quarter. It'll be once every 6 months.
Yeah. Why? Why are they doing that?
Because the economy is going to go to shit.
And they want to cover up.
And they want a runway. And so with all of the risk and all of this craziness that's going on, you need to protect yourself financially. And the best way to do that is by buying gold and silver from our friends at atlasbullion.com/backlash. We've got links on the website. Please, if you work a job and you've got savings and you've got kids and a family, please be aware that the US dollar is shit. It's going down. You will lose all of your value if you only save in dollars. So please, for your kids, for your family, save some in gold and silver. You can get silver subscriptions as low as $55 a month, gold subscriptions for as low as $200 a month. They also can help you out with an IRA. I don't know if I don't think that's the best way to do this. I think taking self-custody is best. But anyway, visit atlasbullion.com/backlash today. And now we will do some super chats.
Thank you so much.
Do we want to do more commercials?
Let's do North Idaho tallow.
Yes.
North Idaho tallow. I just got a candle that smells so good.
What kind of candle? What's that? What is this?
We got Autumn Fireside.
Ooh. Can I smell that?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know.
That's nice. That's really nice.
I think I'm going to put it right next to my gas fireplace so that everything seems like a little more real.
You can turn on the gas. Oh my gosh. So anyway, if you are tired of skincare products that are packed with chemicals you can't pronounce. North Idaho Tallow Company keeps it simple with grass-fed tallow, time-tested ingredients, and zero junk. Their soaps, balms, and lip balm are packed with bioavailable nutrients your skin actually needs. No fillers, no endocrine disruptors, just rugged, reliable skincare that works.
Taking this too.
Ditch the synthetic garbage and switch to North Idaho Tallow Company. Get yours at idahotallow.com. And if you look up here, I guess they're giving free shipping on orders over $100.
Sweet.
So great time to pick up some stuff. Maybe have some like Halloween presents. You could give away bars of soap or something for Halloween.
I did not plan this at all, but for Mother's Day, I got my sister-in-law who has 5 kids, all sorts of Idaho Tallow stuff. And the other day she called me and she was like, I wasn't sure about it because I have oily skin. But she's like, I have never looked better. She's like, we're going to re-up. So all of the people that I've given Idaho Tallow stuff to, they've been very, very pleased. We have excellent reviews online.
It's a good product.
It is truly a good product.
Amen. We are going to start off tonight's super chat with entropy. Entropy. Is it working? It's not working. Son of a bitch. Unreconstructed Yeoman sent $50. Dave, you've grown on me. I admire you. I didn't do that on purpose. I admire your zealousness, and you've managed to turn down your papist supremacy to a 7. Also, do you like Partagas cigars? Partagas? I don't know. My local shop had a buy one, get one on sale, and I was thinking about sending you a few.
That's so nice.
Absolutely. I'd love to do a cigar review. Send them to P.O. Box 853, Post Falls, Idaho 83877. I will do a detailed cigar review for you. Thank you very much, Unreconstructed Yeoman. He also sent another $10. Blonde, I think that you have the soul of a Presbyterian. Your I hate because I love is right out of Reformed theology. Very true. Anybody reading the Psalms can honestly see the I hate because I love is a theme. Read the Scots Confession and the Heidelberg Catechism. You'll feel right at home.
You know, I have come to find Catholic love distasteful. Because they're always like, fight hate with love. I'm like, no, I'm going to fight this hate with double hate. So Catholicism is not coming naturally to me.
Yeah, read, I think you're familiar with this one, Dave, but read the sermon, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God by Jonathan Edwards.
I have not read that.
It's got that Protestant fire in it.
Yeah. Joel Webbin's been going off, too.
Oh, yeah.
He has absolutely
He makes me want to be Baptist.
Listen, I need to take you out for cigars with my priest. Because I think
if every priest were like Father Maudsley, I'd be so devoted to the faith.
We need to get him back on the show, by the way.
The problem is that I've been talking to Devin Stack and Adam Green.
Yeah, this is obviously a problem. Hello.
I need somebody
McFly.
I need somebody to let me grow I need a religion that lets me grow in my hatred. I won't give it up. I'm not interested in giving it up.
You have to transmute the hatred into
Nope, I'm
love.
not interested in
there is a faith that comes to mind.
Judaism, maybe?
No.
Blonde? I don't know.
I wonder where it could possibly be.
I don't like this.
Unreconstructed Human sent another $10 super chat, this one for Cameron. Cameron, when are you going to give up being a rootless cosmopolitan and come home to your people in your place, a very particular spot of soil, wherever that is? Take up your duties of noblesse oblige and secure your legacy as an elite with a family and children.
I come prepared with an answer to that question.
He's like, I got a PowerPoint.
Hold on, let me pull up the quote.
What's he gonna say?
Okay, so this comes from a very important book. It's not well known. I think you know about it, Dave. Rebecca, you probably do not, but it's called Iron Curtain Over America. John Beatty. Okay, this is important, so just listen up. And this quote I found specifically for Dave, but it will also explain what the hell I'm doing flying around everywhere. Okay, this is at the beginning of the book. Since the fall of the Roman Empire of the West in 476 AD, a principal weakness of Western Europe has been a continuing lack of unity. Sound familiar? Charlemagne, who was crowned emperor of the West in Rome in 800, gave the post-Roman European world a generation of unity and exerted influence even as far as Jerusalem, where he secured the protection of Christian pilgrims to the shrines associated with the birth, the ministry, and the crucifixion of Christ. Unfortunately, Charlemagne's empire was divided shortly after his death into three parts. From two of these, France and Germany derived historic boundaries, and a millennium of wars fought largely to change them. All right. The Pope crossed the Alps from schism-torn Italy, and Frenchman himself stirred the people of France as he rode among them. In the chapel at Clermont, he first swayed the men of the church who had answered his summons to the meeting. Then, surrounded by cardinals and mail-clad knights on a golden canopied platform in a field by the church, he addressed the multitude. So this is after Charlemagne and the empire fragments. It says, "You are girded knights, but you are arrogant with pride. You turn upon your brothers with fury, cutting down one the other. Is this the service of Christ? Come forward into the defense of Christ." The great Pope gave his eager audience some pertinent and inspiring text from the recorded words of Christ. "For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them." All right. "And everyone that hath forsaken houses or brethren or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life." To the words of the Savior, "Set forth then upon the way to the holy sepulchre and fear not. Your possessions here will be safeguarded and you will despoil the enemy of great treasures. Do not fear death, where Christ laid down his life for you. If any should lose their lives, even on the way thither, by sea or land, or in strife with the pagans, their sins will be requited them. I grant this to all who go by the power vested in me by God." That speech was given, those words were given after effectively Christendom was attacked during the Crusades, okay? And that was really the last time you could argue that the Western world was unified. It is my belief that we are now approaching a moment in time in which Christendom, or the West, if you prefer, is going to unify together in ways that we haven't seen since the First Reich, which was Charlemagne, by the way. And Reich does not mean empire, it means realm, okay? I think that the unification process is going to happen first in Europe and then eventually lag in the United States. In other words, what's happening in the Western world is happening here where I am in Europe first. And so it is my view and the nature of my project to unify all of these various peoples together under one basic banner of sovereignty, right? Sovereignty, Christian values, European heritage, et cetera, et cetera. And I think this must be done because I don't think we can defeat our opposition if we're not unified. I fundamentally believe that. And if you look at the nature of those who are against us, open society, the NGOs, right? These international organizations, the financial corporations, they're global. They're international. They're in Europe. They're in the United States. In the US, we have the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. In the UK, they have Hate Not Help, or Hate, what is it?
Hope Not Hate. Yeah.
Hope Not Hate, thank you. It's the same shit wherever you go. So the project that I've embarked upon is an attempt to unify all of these various peoples together. And I know Hungarians, Poles, Czechs, Germans, Frenchmen, Spaniards, the works, all of whom are working towards that end. So this is the time, I think, for Christendom to reunify around a common cause. And that is why I am in Europe. That's why I travel as much as I do.
Certainly a noble cause.
Indeed.
Thank you for your sacrifice. And finally, from Unreconstructed Yeoman, his last super chat to us tonight, death to Bitcoin. Thank you for your big super chats, Unreconstructed Yeoman. Thank you. Judge Lott sent $25. In regards to the fan mail, less glazing of Nick Fuentes and more glazing of Cameron. On another note, which is your preferred way of support? So if you want to support the show on a recurring basis, I would say the absolute best way to do that is the backlash.com/donate.
Yes.
Is 100% the best way. You can do a one-time donation, weekly, monthly. You can set a custom amount, and that takes the least cut off the top. I mean, the super chats, they do take like a 30% cut basically across the board, no matter what platform, except for our special crypto super chat platform. But so, yeah, you could do that if you want to donate dollars. And then if you want to donate Bitcoin straight to our wallet, we've got BTC Pay server set up. And that is the absolute best way to donate. If you're on Patreon or Subscribestar, you can do that too, but they take a little off the top.
Yes, they do.
But please sign up.
Anywhere that is convenient for you is the best place.
Yes, absolutely. Flair Cake sent $14.88. This is a guilt super chat. Last week I ordered a couple of books from Antelope Hill, and I used the War Strike discount code instead of Backlash. I feel a little guilty about that, just a little. Do we have a discount code?
On Antelope Hill?
Yeah.
Surely we do.
Really? Well, then why the fuck haven't I been using it? Shit.
Is it okay? Antelope Hill. We'll
Antelope Hill. Do we have a discount promo code? Because I'm
don't
unaware
feel
of
guilty
this.
because we don't even know if we have.
I don't know if we have one. That'd be great. I
actually don't know. I just wanted
bought
to shame
this
you.
culture of critique out of pocket.
Oh, no.
I bought that on Amazon. Unfortunately, they didn't have it up on their website, and I was impatient, so I bought it.
You bought it on Antelope Hill.
Well, I did. I bought it from Antelope Hill on Amazon.
Oh, okay, good.
So anyway.
One thing I did just want to say real quick in response to that last super chat. When we started the Backlash, the four of us agreed together, Vince too, that we were going to try and create a different kind of show. And one of the things that we wanted to do was platform other people, right? We wanted to be a force for integration and unity. And so when we mention people, by and large, we try to amplify their message. We try to give them the benefit of the doubt. We try to credit them as much as we can, because ultimately that's how we win, right? That's how we're going to prevail. And at the same time, we try not to disparage people directly as much as we can. And I said a lot of disparaging things about Charlie Kirk tonight, and I don't normally do that, but I did so because I think there's a lesson in his fall. And I do think I think if he had not died, I think his movement was on the verge of collapse. I think TPUSA was about to buckle and fragment. I really do. Because he made a compromise that he should not have made. That's why I said the things that I did. I have no personal animus against him. And we try to avoid slandering other people. It's just not very productive, and try to focus on the people that are really bedeviling us, right? The people that really want to do us harm and destroy what we believe in. That's what we've tried to do with this podcast. That's why the majority of our comments directed towards Fuentes or anybody else in our movement are to the positive side. And we're going to continue to do that.
True. Let's see here. Speaking of, we've got Gaza derangement syndrome. I shouldn't even read this. $3. Come on, guy. Please get a job. Gaza derangement syndrome sent $3. Do you find it odd that Nick specifically said on his show that Israel didn't have anything to do with it? Also, why has Israel bombing Qatar directly just been swept under the rug?
He did mention that.
True.
He mentioned that right up top.
What, about Gaza?
About Qatar.
Yeah, Qatar. Yeah, that's been a big thing too. I mean, it's escalating over there. Every group chat that I'm in with people that know, it's the
Nick's
heat
defense,
is
he's
getting
on it.
turned
Yes.
up. I think that Nick is tactically attempting to because you know how it is. Like something happened. Oh, you just want to blame the Jews for everything. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And so I think he is attempting to distance himself from that and mark himself as a critical thinker that is coming to his own conclusions and not just reaction, gut, hit the trigger and blame Israel, and I think that's not a bad thing. I mean, when you watch his show in full, that is plainly clear. So Gaza Derangement Center sent another $3. Very good. Did you see that Kash Patel said to Congress that they have no evidence Epstein trafficked girls to anyone? What? No. I saw the Valhalla comment, and I saw him sparring with Eric Swalwell earlier today, where I guess Eric Swalwell was asking Kash if he had told Donald Trump that his name was in the Epstein documents, and Kash danced around and wouldn't answer. Not very good looking. Anyway,
I don't think he's going to last as FBI director much longer.
No.
There's a lot of there's growing criticism of him. Apparently, he's been spending lavishly.
Oh, really?
Availing himself of public funds to go on trips to Vegas. And, I
with
think
his disproportionately hot girlfriend.
Hot Israeli Mossad girlfriend?
The night that Charlie Kirk was killed, I think he was at some kind of very expensive, upper crust restaurant in New York City. Again, I don't know all the details, but these are things that people have been saying. And notice that when Charlie Kirk was killed, he was very quick to go to social media and talk about the fact that they'd found a suspect. It seems like, which they had to walk back, it seems like he's not really fit for that job, and he's about himself. And that makes sense, right? Because that seems to be Donald Trump's modus operandi as well. So I think the relevant point here is that we're in dangerous waters, as Dave said a moment ago, and that the requirement for competency is going to go way up. And I know a lot of you out there think that the super elites are surgically controlling everything, but I think we're about to discover that is absolute nonsense. The competency threshold has been very low for a long time, and now we're going to start to see that exposed as things get worse.
Yeah.
What do we expect? He's Indian. Delete Pajit.
I also saw reports that Dan Bongino looking for the exits as well. So,
well, he fucked up spectacularly.
Both of them suck. Judge Lott sent $15. Any chance Pete Quinones will make a return? Also, have you ever thought of getting Academic Agent or Tom Roswell on? Love you guys.
Hell yeah. I am on Academic Agent's case constantly. He is getting, you can tell
Is he making excuses?
No. I think that he's like really annoyed that I've been so persistent. I just send him question marks sometimes.
Okay.
He's not liking it. Yes, I would love to get Pete Quinones back.
Yeah, it'd be great. Well, and we will. I think Pete was actually talking about taking a trip up here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I should probably reach out to him again and see.
I love Pete. He's great.
Judge Lott also sent $5. Are you guys familiar with Dave the Distributist? Channel is the Distributist.
Yes,
I am. I heart distributism. I fucking do not like capitalism. Queensboro Bridge Enjoyer sent $5. Colonel McGregor, Ron Unz, Max Blumenthal, Colonel Kawatowski, and Ray McGovern have all implied Israel is linked to the Kirk event. All have experience dealing with DC power behind the scenes, so that alone is reason to doubt the official narrative.
Yes, I agree.
Totally agree. There's zero reason
we don't
to trust.
I don't know what happened. We don't know what happened, but there's every reason to disbelieve the reflexive cover story that they're giving, right? There's every reason to believe that if in fact Israel is involved, that the FBI and the government will do whatever it can to cover that up, right? And that's the problem with this, is that who knows? I don't necessarily think they were involved. I don't know. But the motive seems plausible, and we know that the Trump administration's in their pocket, so they would give them political cover if they were involved. That raises red flags at a minimum.
Yep, 100%, plus the Mormon connection. Not all Mormons, just some. Christian Ramirez sent $5. According to TPUSA IRS 990 exempt form from 2014 to 2021, total revenue is $230,327,702. Total expenses, $207,300,994. Net assets in 2014, $921,000. Net assets in 2021, $23,558,994. So $125 million equals half of 7 years of revenue. $150 million.
Right.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. That's an
big money.
Unbelievable amount of money. Gaza Derangement Syndrome sent $5. I have seen on X recently that Japan government is starting to open the floodgates to immigration despite citizen protests. How long do you think that a Japanese Japan has left? Recent PM Ishiba even resigned due to a recent African city scandal.
Please don't do it, guys.
It's very small. It's very small in scale. There's already opposition to it in Japan.
Hell yeah.
And part of what's driving this is the assertion that demographics, specifically birth rates, drive everything, that they drive economic productivity, that they drive the sustainability of your fiscal deficits. There's every reason to believe that that's not the case. Look, Europe has flooded itself with millions of immigrants over the last 20, 30 years. And they are financially imploding. They are less economically viable and productive. You can make the same argument in the United States. Mm-hmm. It's not about the numbers. It's about how productive your population is, how cohesive that population is. That's ultimately what's conducive to economic prosperity, innovation, dynamism, and all the rest of it. So it's not going to go anywhere in Japan. It will be
that's
reversed.
Reassuring.
But it's this sort of Western economic ideology that the Asians pay attention to. They take it seriously because they still look at the West as an advanced society, as an advanced civilization. So I think that's the genesis of this, but it's not going to last.
Yeah. Good. I like the Japanese. They make good radios.
They're not going anywhere. I've been to Japan. I think you have too, Rebecca. The Japanese will not tolerate that. They won't.
I want to go to China.
You'd rather go to China than Japan?
I would like to go to Bangkok. I would like to eat some noodles. I think it would be tremendous.
No, it's in Thailand.
I have a friend who's Korean who speaks fluent Japanese, and he lived in Japan for 2 years. First of all, it's very difficult to get a visa in Japan.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, but there are Koreans that occasionally get visas. But anyway, he spoke Japanese fluently, lived in Japan for 2 years. And
I bet they hated him.
He said no matter where he was, no matter what he did, everybody knew he was a Korean, not Japanese, and everybody viewed him as an outsider.
Yep.
I heard real estate in Japan, though, is very cheap.
It is.
Right now. So
it
maybe get a summer home in Japan.
I don't think you can.
Probably not. Gaza Derangement Syndrome sent $5. Then I heard today that Donald Trump is expediting Indian visas for 12 months. Not sure about your panel, but I would prefer Mexicans over Indians. Agreed.
I guess they're Catholic.
If I had to pick between Mexicans or Indians, I'm picking the Mexicans.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right.
At least they have the common faith, and they don't like black people either. Just to wrap up over on, what's this called?
What's this called?
Entropy. Gaza Derangement Syndrome sent, see, look, it's working now. Gaza Derangement Syndrome sent $50. I'm not Jewish, I promise. Sorry for the $3 super chat. Bro, my bad. I didn't mean to be.
Dave has this thing where he insults the audience. Stefan Molyneux famously did this.
Because I watch too much Nick, you know what I mean? Like Nick crashes out.
We love the audience.
I love you guys.
Do you remember that famous Stefan Molyneux clip where he laid into the guy that sent him $2? It was viewed as so much ingratitude. People just hated him for it.
Oh no.
Yeah, no. Every dollar that you guys will give us, we appreciate, and we know that you're parting with your hard-earned money in a difficult economic time. Dave's just a jerk.
I'm being a douchebag. I apologize. KH88 sent $14.88. I'm Italian. Excuse me. I'm pulling a Rick and Morty over here. It's this. I should probably stop drinking the Perrier. Can you explain the difference between fascism and National Socialism, and which ideology you are more aligned with? Anybody want to take that?
Ooh, the difference between fascism and National Socialism.
So, fascism, well, first of all, National Socialism was a very unique ideology to Germany at that time.
Right.
Fascism, and again, with fascism, it's very difficult to define, right? Because there's a lot of different definitions of it. Are we talking about corporatism? Are we talking about like the fusion of corporations and the state?
They're talking about state fascism.
Right. But I don't really necessarily even regard corporatism as fascism per se, because we have an element of corporatism here in America, right? Like we've got the U.S. government now owns 10% of Intel. Is that fascism?
Somebody said, yeah, one's Italian and one's German. There it is.
Exactly. But, fascism I definitely think is a grassroots Christian ethnic movement of people of similar heritage, background, language, religion, banding together to protect their way of life.
So is National Socialism.
But National Socialism is basically the same, except that they have books about it and it's much more detailed, I think.
Cameron, what do you think?
A good person to read on nationalism is Gottfried Herder. If you read Isaiah Berlin's book, I think it's called The Crooked Timber of Humanity, he argues more or less that nationalism goes back to Herder. And that's essentially the idea that there is a unique set of properties embedded in an ethnos that are separate and distinct from other ethnoses, from other peoples. That's nationalism. Now, there's an inflammation of nationalism or national characteristics that are exaggerated in political movements. And that, I think, depending on who you read, that is a product of the 19th century. And that emerges, some people will say, in the aftermath of the Napoleonic Wars, particularly in Germany, because of the French occupation. The French, remember, when they swept across Europe and they conquered Austria and Prussia, they created all of these principalities, but they also were not the best occupying force. So they raped a lot, they killed a lot, they stole a lot, and that created Johann Fichte and the principles of Germanic idealism and nationalism. Okay, so you might say that nationalism comes in various forms, but it's embedded, sort of as Dave said, in that organic ethnos, right? The unique, separate and distinct properties of a nation and a place, of a people and a land. That's what nationalism is. And I would argue that nationalism has ancient roots. I think that the archetype is ultimately what nationalism springs from. Okay, that's why I keep using that term all the time. Fascism is the political unification of the state and the society. Some people would call that corporatism, as Dave said a moment ago. But effectively, that's what it is. And I would just say that I think fascism, as we've seen it in the 20th century, is one expression of it. Remember, the root of the word fascism is fasci. Fasci means party in Italian. But if you go back to the ancient Romans, fasci, I think it's like a rod bound together.
Yeah, it was
right?
an axe.
An axe, thank you. And that basically means the unification of the people and the state. It's Caesarism, right? That's what fascism really is in the ancient form of it. And that's why the Nazis and others used lots of Roman-like symbolism, because they were trying to revive that spirit. So that's the difference. Nationalism, organic, separate and distinct people and land, and then fascism is sort of the unification of the society and the state.
Yeah, we've got this, by the way. And so before you get on, you're a fascist, baby. Okay, yeah, fuck you. This is Congress, okay? Yeah. So that idea was clearly implicit at the time that these buildings were. It's a good thing. It's a European thing. We need to band together with our neighbors, with people that are like us, to protect our way of life. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And just one other thing on this. I don't mean to be too academic about it, but the Anglo-Saxon view, the WASP view, you might say the Celtic view too, because the people in the British Isles were a different breed. They didn't necessarily experience political organization the way people did on the continent. And the reason for that is because they lived on an island. So on an island, you didn't really need a state, because you didn't need to raise taxes for armies to fight people that were invading you all the time. Now, there was lots of internecine conflict in Great Britain. We know that, right? But once you had a fusion of these peoples together, people didn't want to pay taxes because they didn't need an army, right, to defend themselves. So that's why famously Great Britain historically at least, had navies. It's also why you had a government that was very limited in its scope and its power because nobody wanted to pay for it. We inherited the British model. However, now, as I keep saying to people, we are experiencing a transformation of our political structure because we're so big, we're so powerful, and because the state no longer represents us. And that means you get a reintegration of state, and that means the rise of nationalism and some connectivity between the state and the people and a bridge to get there. That's the future of our movement. That's where we're headed.
Blondie, you want to take this one? Breaking news.
Oh,
Jimmy Kimmel's been canceled.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yep.
Anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Trump got ABC to cancel his show after he made some kind of false link between MAGA.
He blamed MAGA for the
Good. More to come.
assassination. We've got a big super chat on our proprietary crypto super chat platform. Thank you very much. You can get there, by the way, if you would like to send us. There's no skimming off the top on this one, right? Like
There's
other,
no skimming, right?
Zero. It goes directly from your wallet to our wallet with a message, so you can get that. It's the green one down here. Thank you so much. From Jerry, who sent $20. The administration's handling of Charlie Kirk has been massively disappointing. I think that's why Nick had so many viewers the night after the shooting. People hunger for a real leader with a meaningful message. Trump is completely hollow and devoid of any spiritual core. He's the leader we're stuck with, not the one we need.
That is so true. They did fumble this spectacularly, and then they did a presser where they just sniffed their own farts for fun. We got him in 33 hours. We got him, guys.
There's that Freemason number again.
33. Yeah, I think Candace was getting there.
I mean, I think that's part of it. And, obviously Donald Trump he's not a leader. He's a marketing guy. That's pretty clear. But the larger issue is that there is no way to handle it. The political union that we have, the social contract, it's broken. It doesn't work. And there's nothing that can be done other than trying to patch it up with Scotch tape. And that's what Trump's trying to do. That's what Biden did beforehand. That's what Obama did. Do you remember when Obama was president, there was some kind of incident at Harvard when a Harvard professor got into some kind of a spat with a local police officer, and Obama invited both of these characters to the White House, and they had some kind of kumbaya moment. That was just the beginning, right, of a fragmentation of our political structure that's irremediable. There's nothing that Donald Trump can do to solve any of these problems. No. It's broken. It needs to break further. It's going to do so. And then we're going to fix these problems. So I guess my point is there is no quality or caliber of leader that can fix an inherently broken system. Mm-hmm. Our system's broken.
Yep.
All right. Moving over to Power Chat. We've got 7 fucking pages.
What?
Of super chats. That was just entropy. Now we're on Power Chat.
Oh my gosh. Next week we might have to institute a $10 and up rule. I think the show's becoming too long.
Forgot to pay Dave for ass. Sent $10. Davey, baby. That was real sweet. You ran off before I could stuff a Hamilton down your fishnets. P.S. Please bring the leather strap next time. You chewed through my last one.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what that's about.
Oh, you do.
Maybe don't read that one next time.
I know. You don't have to read these.
$10, whatever. $10 is $10, whatever. Nemi B sent $1. Did you see Charlie would have been 35 by next election? Yeah, very true. He would have been eligible. Thunderstorm 9 sent $10 on Rumble. I don't care about left, right. The gunman was the guy in sunglasses, earpiece with a palm pistol. Seen the footage last night. It's great AI.
No.
Back away from the schizo, bud.
No. Everyone needs to scale it back, all right?
It was not I don't think it was a guy in the crowd with the pistol. No. Now, it would have made sense if it was a guy coming up to speak and ask Charlie a question and then he pulls out a gun and shoots him.
But that's not what happened.
That's not what happened. Patton was right, sent $10. Well, there's no smoking gun yet for the bigger conspiracy, but 2 things can be true at the same time. A crazy, insane leftist can want to murder Charlie, and a certain very powerful intelligence agency can want the same thing and help him out. Very true.
Very true.
Very, capitalizing.
Yeah, and I did see on Twitter, I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was some interesting activity at that young man's house.
Yes.
From bizarre vehicles, and I think a neighbor reported that they felt uncomfortable.
Yes.
So
A potential tranny orgy.
Cars with out-of-state plates
Yes.
coming. There was also a report that just got dropped a couple hours ago about cell phone pings in the area that Charlie was. 12 Israeli phones were registered in the vicinity of Charlie Kirk at the time of the assassination. So,
yeah, and Charlie himself, correct me if I'm wrong, but Charlie had expressed concern and anxiety.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
So.
Yep. Nope. That's what everyone's saying. Tucker's saying it. Everybody's saying it. Thunderstorm 9 sent $5 on Rumble. Look at the rifle. The scope is on backwards. Get out. Charlie Kirk rifle. See, this is what I would have expected. I would have expected, get grandpa's rifle, right? That's what I would have expected, but that's not it. This is it. That doesn't look like it's on backwards. You have the number markings here for how powerful you want the optic to zoom in. I believe that is on correctly. I believe that's on correctly. I have one similar, and I think that's right. But, hey, got to comb over everything. Anonymous sent $15. Been an interesting week to share a surname with Charlie. Unfortunately, I guess I have to be based and take my future husband's last name when I marry. Regardless, all of these stupid takes are just getting confusing. I think Nick is close, though. Then we got $10 from Blonde's Mommy Milkers.
My God.
This all strikes me as some kind of satanic public sacrifice ritual, and Charlie was innocent lamb. Cui bono, who benefits? I definitely do not believe the official narrative. If they can plant CP on someone's computer, they can definitely generate texts. Yeah. Those texts, they ran it through, DDG Sarah ran the text message conversations through AI and asked AI if it was real or if it was fabricated, and AI came back and said most likely fabricated. So yeah, no, don't trust these people. Book Track Groove sent $10. Candace Owens is a total grifter. David, make sure your references are available. Blonde, did you watch Sam Hyde video on Charlie?
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was very great.
This is you. This is your daughter. This is you.
This is you.
Gradles21 sent $5 on Rumble. Nick clearly doesn't own a doghouse. It's time to stop glazing that twink. Disavow. He had a rabbit. I don't think he's a dog guy. He had a rabbit. Nemi B sent $10. Ben Davidson would make a great guest at Sun Weatherman on X. He's the foremost expert on the upcoming micronova. He has a documentary coming out mid-November. Scroll his X and you will see what I mean. Yes, I've been following him for about 6 years now. I think he's right, but it's a little schizo for this program. I go watch this, and I believe I know the person producing that documentary too. So maybe we will. Very interesting theory about the magnetic pole flipping and all that, but a little outside the scope of this podcast. George Sorrell sent $5. If Israel controls U.S. policy, how come the $4 billion we send them each year can only be spent on U.S. equipment? Wouldn't a power that controls us want the money unmarked so that they can invest it in themselves? It's not all spent on U.S. equipment. It's not all spent on Lockheed Martin and Raytheon and Boeing and all of that. Some of that does trickle and matriculate and work its way into Israeli society, and it eventually comes back through AIPAC. And it's a vicious cycle. We give them money, the money matriculates, it comes back, it gets put into American businesses, and American Jews through AIPAC use it to control the government. So I don't know. I mean, I need to see some figures on that. But Nemi B sent $1 on Rumble. The only men I have followed longer than Ben Davidson are Andrew Anglin and Devin Stack. I became red-pilled in 2019, and I know you guys have been at this longer than me. 2012.
We're tired.
2012. That's when I found out.
That's when you found out?
Well, I really put it all together then.
2016.
2012 for the worldview Jewish power thing, and 2015 for the racial demographic
Oh, I did
thing.
it the other way.
Yeah, we were backwards. Those rando thoughts sent $10. An Israeli rabbi posted a condolence for Charlie dated 2 September. Yes, that did happen. There was an Israeli nonprofit that gave a letter. I actually posted about it and deleted it because that was a typo.
Oh, was it?
It was actually a typo. As far as I'm aware, I think it was something like I don't know. They have a weird calendar system. It was supposed to be 9 Elul 20 or 5057 or whatever is their date, and then 19 or 12 September, I guess, when they wrote the actual. I don't know. I think that was like a legitimate mistake. But hey, who knows? Those rando thoughts sent $20 on Rumble. Either he was killed before totally flipping against Israel, or as an example to those who speak against them, toe the line or else. Yeah. George Sorrell sent $5. Speaking of forward thinking, solutions for the low birth rates among the West. How can one convince women to have children earlier in life and able to replace more people before investment turn into savings and society freezes?
Women need to feel secure. They just need security. They don't need security from society. They need security from a man. Be her rock, and you'll get all the poon.
Okay.
I would
Take
just
it
say
from a
three.
woman.
I would just say three things on this. One, there needs to be an economic adjustment, and that's coming. Right? I've said before, feminism is a business model, and it's a business model that ultimately depends on the labor of men, and that productivity has faltered for a long time. So we've had to borrow our way through it, and the borrowing provides a lot of the social services that allow women to be single moms, that allow women to behave in, let's just say, ways that are not terribly constructive for them. If what I'm saying is right, and I think I am, and the financial system implodes, you're going to see an inversion of that. That will strengthen the position of men in the socioeconomic hierarchy, and it will bring women back down to earth. And that, I think, will strengthen pair bonding. That's one. Two is it's very clear that we need a social revolution, right? We need a revaluation of values. And that's part of our movement as well. And I think that's coming. Part of the reason it's coming is because of the hard times that we're going through. Part of it is because today's female population, which is aged out of reproduction, many of them, who have ended up single, unmarried, no kids. Those women are a lesson to younger women. I don't want to end up like that. And so I think that's going to be instructive. And then thirdly, I think we're shifting away from an extremely morally lax and tolerant society towards one that's going to have a much tougher exterior, that's going to be a lot more intolerant. And that will favor, I think, a reemergence of family, a preference not for materialism, but for more balance in your life, right? A sense of family, a community, and all the rest of it. So I think we're on the right track, but it's going to take a generation to fix.
Yes. Holy shit. Tim Pool just tweeted out a video of Nick Fuentes calling him a voice of reason. Look.
Oh God, I can't. I need to check out for the rest of the night.
Yeah, we're going to be
I can't do it.
We're going to be on Twitter. There's just so much information. It's hard to take it all in. Mechanized Doom sent $5. Did you guys see that Donald Trump is fast-tracking green cards specifically for Indians? Literally to the front of the line. I think it's yet another sign that the economy is going to crater soon. Yep.
Yeah, everybody needs to look at our demographic situation and wonder if more Indians is going to fix anything. When has more Indians fixed any problem?
No.
Ever.
Not in India. There's 1 billion of them over there, and their country sucks. Book Track Groove sent $10. The murderer stole a conversation with Charlie and Nick. Could you guys to other contards? No more progressive talks. Song sent.
Buddy, I don't know what you're saying here.
Man. Song sent means that I think he made a little song for your rant. The murderer stole a conversation with Charlie. Oh, meaning like by killing Charlie, Nick and Charlie couldn't debate.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. So could we do that to other people? Yeah, sure. I mean, we're going to be keeping the pressure up. Those rando thoughts sent $10. Dave just got the knickknacks in. Different, but they're good. To all of you, God bless and stay safe. Yes, they are Dave approved. Knickknack if you have a nicotine craving. We did not get paid for that.
We didn't.
I want to get paid for that or they could just pay me in nicotine, for God's sakes. I would take it. They're based out of Spokane. Very good. Waspy sent $10, ladies and gentlemen. We got Jimmy Kimmel. My joy is immeasurable. Hell yeah.
I fucking hate Jimmy Kimmel.
He was probably just canceled for his ratings.
Yeah, really.
Probably.
His show was doing very well.
Who watches TV anymore?
No.
People don't watch TV. I mean, boomers maybe, but Nemi B sent $1 on Rumble. Did you see that Matt rebranded as a skinhead? LMAO JK, he just shaved his head and I couldn't help but laugh.
I don't know. If you're a balding man, it's tough.
He's balding? I'm balding.
He's bald. No, you're not.
In the back, a little bit.
Listen, there are a lot of things I could say about Matt and have, but it's not his fault.
Robert sent $25. 5 billion lives saved and they still hate us. Let's turn that conviction inwards and preserve what we have as the left self-destructs. Hunker down and let the reset happen as it won't be so bad. Is this take cowardly and gay, smart, or neither? Thoughts?
Smart. I mean, the processing of power it took for Grok to crank that up. I thought my computer was going to lift off. Grok did not want to do that. I had to really ask the question in several different ways, and then it finally didn't. I was just astounded. I thought maybe we've saved a few 100 million lives.
Billions.
Billions of lives.
Yeah.
It's just incredible, the accomplishments of white people.
Scientific method.
White excellence.
Chemistry. Book Track Groove sent $10. Adam Green is terrible. He is not very constructive. Blonde, talk more to Corey Mahler. David, build a bookshelf, $800, tools included.
Listen, I like Adam. He's been super cool to me. He's interesting to talk to. I like him. I like the guy. On a personal level, I like him. What else can I say here? I like Corey, too. Corey's fantastic.
I like Corey. I like Adam and I have been, he had his daughter, I think the same time I had my daughter. We've talked on the phone. We've had each other's number for years.
Yeah.
We've been very cordial.
He's a cool dude.
He's completely wrong with the Christ-hating stuff.
Yeah, but, it's an interesting perspective, and I like to hear it.
I just don't want to go there. I don't want to argue.
Where's Andrew Anglin? Yeah, let's get him on the show.
Antwash Enjoyer sent $5. Cam, there is a famous Scalia quote where he says that in Europe, he felt most at home in England more than his ethnic Italy due to the shared Anglo culture with the U.S. I've never been to Europe. Do you still feel a sense of distinct cultures?
Yeah. The last time I went was in 2017. So who knows how much it had changed. But I went in 2015 and 2017 and it was vastly different. Oh no, I went in 2019 too.
Yeah. It's different. For sure. Like in Prague, right? That's a city center.
Prague still looked great.
That's a city center that still has a culture together. Paris, fucked. London,
fucked, yeah.
Screwed. Madrid, not so much. But if you go to Spain, like Syria, those little towns, up in the northwest part of Spain.
I gotta say, Germany looks pretty rough.
Yeah, Bad Kutzing is a great little town that I've been to in Germany. As you go into the smaller towns, they still have their character, their ethnos. The big cities, it's all like New York City.
Austria was looking.
Vienna's okay.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Well, the Christmas. Yeah, don't get me started. Cameron?
The Europeans will be fine. They will be fine. They all self-segregate. Everybody in Europe knows the problems. And I would tell you that they're better versed than you might think. And in some cases, better versed than Americans as well. The problem is that a lot of them are welfare lackeys. And as long as they get their benefits, they don't give a shit. The older generations mirror our older generations. They're brainwashed. They're afraid of the truth. But the younger generations are awake and moving and organizing. So lots of very interesting things are happening. I tell people all the time, keep your eyes on France, because I think that is going to be the catalyst, just as it was in 1789 for a complete inversion. The French population can go from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat. It's hard to understand. I don't speak French fluently, but I have a few contacts there. I've spent some time there. It's very difficult to penetrate that culture because it moves in parallel to the rest of Europe, and they don't give a shit about the United States. They really don't care about NATO either. But watch France, because I think that's where the fire is really going to start.
Yeah. A real Ubermensch sent $14. I love the Predictive History YouTube channel. Nice find, Dave. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, I was unaware of this.
Yeah, guys, not the first time I've seen him either. Smart dude. George Sorrell sent $15. Here's $15 for your time. Can you double check the Israeli foreign military finance on ChatGPT and Grok? Yeah, I can take a look at that. Not right now, but I will. I will take a screenshot of this and take a peek, and we can talk about it in the future. George Sorrell also sent $5. I agree, for that average age of fertility to come down, men need to be economically secure far earlier in life so women would see them as legit partners. But there is zero sign of emancipating men in society. In my opinion, we are going backwards. Well, at the same time, though, I mean, like, there's nothing stopping a 30-year-old from marrying a 20-year-old. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't necessarily think, I mean, on average, the economy sucks, and that has contributed negatively to fertility and marriage and all of that. But at the same time, like, a man with money that's stable, that's older, can get married to a younger woman. The problem is that the problem is the women.
Yeah, this older man marrying a much younger woman, though, is something of a manosphere myth. I mean, it happens, but I think 85 to 90% of marriages, the age gap is between 2 and 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, my wife and I are 3 years apart, so makes sense.
My husband's 8 years older.
Yeah, I would just say two things. Read my essay called Dating Generations and Sexual Prohibition, because I explore this issue in some detail, and needless to say, I have a very different perspective on it. But you just have to remember that women are mirrors of whatever the power structure is. So if you change the power structure, then all of a sudden you change the female sexual selection process and all the rest of it. This is why our movement is so crucial, right? We have to change the political landscape. We have to revalue values across the board. If we fail to do this, then yeah, we're finished. But I think we are on the precipice of an inversion, right? And that means that you're going to see the sexual marketplace revert back. It will sort of rebalance. I know most people don't buy that, but that's also because they're not looking at the broader issues, right? There's economic issues, there's political issues, there's cultural issues. They're very myopically focused on the sexual marketplace itself, and that's always a mistake. There's many other variables that affect it, but ultimately, women echo the power structure. If the power structure changes, then women change.
Yep. This chart is just crazy. I pulled up your article, and it's just unbelievable. And there was a tweet that I saw earlier today from Chuck Johnson about the dating sites, and all of those Match Group, Tinder, Bumble, blah blah blah. That's all owned by Israelis. Be very careful using e-dating websites and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
It also doesn't work, and it's increasingly disenchanting to the younger generations. And as community strengthens again, that's how people are going to meet one another, right?
Yeah,
it's going to be those natural networks that reassert themselves. But today, we don't have natural networks, right? We don't have that community infrastructure. We have to rebuild it, change the political structure, and the female population will follow.
Yep, that chart is going to change. Wow, what a fucking statement that is. Yeah, no shit, it's going to change. Anyway, Jamarcus sent $15. Do you have heroes? If so, how do you choose them?
Andrew Anglin.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
My
Jesus.
father.
My mom's pretty awesome.
Yeah. My grandfather. I don't know. I mean.
How do you choose them? I don't know. It's partially based on influence in your life.
Yeah. True. Never meet them, though. Never meet you.
Did I just say Andrew Anglin before Jesus? See, this is the problem. This is the problem I'm having.
Oh, jeez. And with that, I actually think we've done it, chat.
All right, let's do Anna Lapel and let's get out of here.
I think hold on. I hate it when it does this. It logs me out. Got to log back in. Let's just make sure that there isn't any new on Entropy. And there isn't. Very good. Thank you very much. And we do have to thank our sponsor, Antelope Hill Publishing, America's premier dissident book publisher. They are fighting to keep history alive against the regime of anti-white censorship. If I can find their website to pull up.
There we go.
And they're publishing a new generation of dissident radical and right-wing researchers, philosophers, polemicists, and writers. They have an eclectic catalog that includes veteran right-wing authors and academics like Harry Bolton, Dr. Ricardo Duchesne, Paul Kersey, Kevin MacDonald, as well as new figures like Lord Miles Routledge of Afghanistan, Josh Neal, Christian Secor, and that's in addition to a long list of original translations or modern reprints of otherwise inaccessible historical works from eras such as fascist Italy, National Socialist Germany, and medieval Europe. Their original works include groundbreaking investigations into the causes and funding behind transgenderism and the opioid crisis, books on Christian nationalism and American folktales. Additionally, Antelope Hill also contributes to the regeneration of our culture and rebirth of our family values through their top-quality fiction like Let Them Look West and Worlds Separated, and a collection of beautifully illustrated and wholesome children's books. Whatever your interest is, you're bound to find books that you like at Antelope Hill, all professionally published and with cover art that will grace your bookshelves. Help us and help our people by checking out companies that share our values and work to preserve the birthright of our history. Visit antelopehillpublishing.com and get your copy of The Culture of Critique by Kevin MacDonald, because it's a good book and it's important.
Thank you guys
we'll have him on the show.
so much for joining us for this extra long stream. We really appreciate it. Check all of our links out at thebacklash.net. Subscribe to us on all available platforms. We would really appreciate it, and we will see you on Monday. Bye, guys.